Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the live TT show. I'm Andycharger, and we'll quickly go around the room to see who we got on the show tonight. Who we got on there? Who have I got over to my left?
Carl, Chris.
Oh, there you go. Hello, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, I see. I see you've got someone below you that's new to the feed tonight. Who you got below you?
The new
Look
person?
Down. Yeah, look
Would
down.
that be
Who's
me?
down there? Yeah, it must be Rappy.
Do you know what? Everyone
It is
says look
Rappy.
down there. So I'm probably one of the smallest people in the world.
No, it's just you underneath Chris tonight.
We're about the same, Darren. We're about the same, mate.
Rappy. I'm Rappy, aka It's a Rap, aka.
So the thing is, when you said look down there, it was different because on here, it's the other way round.
Wow, that's just confusion. That's just confusion. So anyway, welcome along tonight, Darren. So do you want to tell us a bit about your TT adventures and what you're up to?
Well, I haven't pulled my engine out like most of you guys have, to be honest. But no, I'm a Mark III TT driver, and I basically got into it really not knowing what I was getting into, to be honest. But I was a BMW driver for probably the last 9 or 10 years. Had about 6, 7 BMWs, and I just thought, you know what, I love these TTs. Always wanted one, so I got a Mark III, and I've not looked back, to be honest. Nearly 3 years. Completely revamped it.
Yeah, and you've got I would class a fairly decent following on Instagram, if I remember rightly. So if you're there it is there. So at Rappy_TT. So that's R44PPY_TT. Please do check Rappy out because he's got some great pics of his car on there. And we've been to a few shows together. You were at Springfest with us, and I think we've been at a few other bits and pieces together. So it's always good to have you along, my friend.
Yeah, flying the flag for the Mark IIIs.
Yeah, that's I say. So tonight we've got one of everybody on. We got more Mark Ones than anything else, but we've got a Mark II with Chris's house, and a Mark III in your house, and then if we go to your right, Mr. Harper all the way from Ireland. How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, all good.
All good.
Very that was very
Yes,
jovial.
Steven. He's always happy.
Yeah, no. He brings the light to our darkness on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How was your Christmas, Stephen? All right?
Oh man, like we managed to survive not getting the flu too badly, so that's the major thing. So it was a good Christmas.
Excellent. Yeah, I did obviously catch up with you just before Christmas. Is there any advance on the TT? The second TT?
Well, no, I have to wait till New Year's because we agreed that
right.
we would meet up probably on the 2nd of January. So hopefully it's a red one. So hopefully they don't they don't get much trouble. We know the silver ones never ever break down.
Yeah.
So
And you know the red ones are faster.
Yeah, they are.
I'll have to do the calipers then silver, to even it out.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have it going too crazy because if it goes too crazy, you'll be in all sorts of
Just
trouble.
prepare for the lacquer pill on the red bow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have a pink TT.
Yeah.
Are they bad
Absolutely.
actually for lacquer peel on the red ones?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah, the Mark II's decent. Mark I, nah.
Yeah.
They always have a little bit on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that? I know there's obviously different chemicals and stuff in different color paints. It's more than just paint color. But why is it the red ones? Is it something to do with the way it reacts with the sunlight and it makes it pale, or something that the paint's made from? Do we know?
I think it's whatever it's made from, because I've seen that within loads of other Volkswagens, and even Honda and everything else. Anything that's red seems to always go pink.
Yeah.
So you see the last time I ended up pink Honda
used to be good for that.
Yeah.
Didn't you do was it Chris? You did a rattle can little jobby on your red one as well, yeah?
Oh, when I done the wind mirror.
Yeah.
That came out all right,
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was on the Mark I. That came out all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit better than my silver respray of my back end, so to speak.
It all blends in.
Not so much. So
Yeah, but silver's a hard colour though, Andy.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, we've got a few people on tonight. We've got Chris on, Chris225. Nice to see you, Chris. Hope you had a good Christmas. Mr. George is on. Now he's had 2 TTs this year, or 2 TTs I've seen. I'm yet to get him. I need to get that lovely white car that he's now got on TT meets TT. And Rappy, I think we need to do TT meets TT on your car as well. So I've not done a Mark III yet, so I think we need to feature that.
As long as you put the food on like you did last time.
Well, yeah. I think it's me that cooked the food. I think it might be my wife, but yeah.
It was your wonderful wife, yeah.
Yeah, I think that can definitely be arranged. And Peter's on from Scotland. Now, Peter, I've just done the last episode of the year with TT Meets TT with Peter, so if anyone's checked that out with Peter's Roadster. That's a lovely Roadster. He's got some nice little carbon features on there. So
yeah, he's got some nice tidy little mods on that.
Yeah. So Chris has said about the two about the lacquer peel, because Chris has got a red 225 as well. So all Chris's have got red 225s, I've noticed.
That's how we roll, isn't it?
Yeah. So guys, if you've got any questions, anything you want to ask any of us tonight, please do drop it into the chat. Hi Howard, just see you're on there as well. Nice to see you, my friend. Hope you had a good Christmas. Interestingly, Howard has also got a glacier blue Roadster, Peter. So Peter and Howard are on the chat there. You've both got the same. Peter's is a 180 and Howard's is a 3.2, but they're both yeah. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Where have I gone?
He's disappeared.
The host is gone.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
And he's back again.
I had to have the joy of the makeup artist just came in to see I can do that. I can keep talking. The makeup artist can quickly powder my brow, and then she leaves again. You see, the sound man keeps waving the boom in, yeah, like Chris's boom. Yeah. So, guys, what was your highlight of this year? Do you think? What have you think you've done this year that was really good? Any highlights, guys?
Highlights of this year?
Yeah.
Wait, the amount of shows, mate, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The year of shows was absolutely brilliant. I don't know how many shows I've been to this year. Obviously, we've been to a few as well, Dan. I'll see you at Gravity.
Yeah, Gravity was brilliant. I mean, 2 years in a row now, I've been asked to showcase my car for 2 years in a row, which is absolutely
yes, because I saw you last year as well, didn't I?
Yeah. So the year before I was with Whoops Will Fix It. They asked me to go on their stand with a couple of the Yanamize guys on there as well, which was brilliant. And then this year I was with another group of, oh God, I forgot the bloody name of them now, to be honest, but it's like a whole group of like people from sort of Hertfordshire way and around the London areas. There's probably about 75 of us, which was great.
Right.
That's a great turnout.
Yeah, and I think one of your highlights this year, though, Darren, must be featuring in a music video, or the car featuring in a music video, should we say?
that is absolutely my claim to fame. With Harvey from So Solid Crew. That was absolutely brilliant. They literally just there was a guy, I think it's like one of the creative directors of the music videos, and he contacted me on Instagram because I've got probably near 11,000 followers now. So he wanted something that was quite, this is someone who had quite a substantial following who could help pump the video and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was brilliant. Spent the whole day in the studios over at Wrench Studios. And Harvey was literally like my best mate. He was literally hugging me, cuddling me, like wanting to be like my bestest friend. And then I didn't realize they wanted him to drive my car, like from the back of the face of the front. So I'll quickly drop in a funny story. So he's got me to basically sit in my car, get it started, and then I thought they were all getting me all ready, like for like the opening shot, and I didn't realize, I thought they wanted me to drive forward, and he was going to be like sort of dancing and rapping in front of me. Well, he just basically said, "You're going to get out." I was like, "What?" And he basically, no one told me that he was going to drive my car. So I couldn't even prep him because I've got a ghost immobilizer. So he's like driven in, they're all filming, he's turned it off, he's dancing in front of it, and then he's tried to get back in and it doesn't work because he has to put the code in. It was an absolute shambles. So, but it was 4 or 5 hours in the evening. It was brilliant.
That's amazing. So what we'll do is, for those that haven't seen it, is if someone wants to find it, if you've got the links on YouTube, Darren, that you can pull up, because you should stick that in the live chat so people can check that out. Obviously, don't leave this chat because it's good, but if you can stick it in there, and what I'll do is I will also put a link to the Harvey video in the description of this video once it becomes a video, so everyone's got that as well. But yeah, definitely stick a link in the live chat for people that might want to open a second browser. and not listen
Yeah,
to
so
what we're
I've got,
saying.
I've actually got that the making of it, which is me filming it and doing my YouTube on it, and I've actually got the official video. I'll
Yeah.
put both links
Right.
in.
Yeah,
for-
definitely
brilliant,
put
brilliant.
them both
Great.
up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's definitely a claim to fame to have.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Because I
when
don't
I
know if
do,
people knew about the TTs. Obviously, back in the day when So Solid Crew started, a few of them actually had TTs, and Harvey
Yeah,
had a
that's
TT.
right, mate.
So if people didn't realise that, that's why they called up a TT again, but a
Yeah.
more modern day sort of version of their videos and a modern day TT. That's what it was all about.
yeah. But it's funny because when Harvey was filming that video of you, he phoned me up and he said, Andy, can I appear in an episode of TT Meets TT? I've got a car. I can't get it to start because it immobilizes. But no, he's but I
He's
definitely
gonna
think
pop in,
we
yeah?
should. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely think we should get an episode of TT Meets TT in the bag with your car. I think that'd be really cool to do. And
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, and also, Mr. Harper, when we come to Ireland, you're going to be a busy boy because we're going to have to do an episode of TT Meets TT with the Irish cars as well. I think.
Oh, definitely, that'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, although I think we are going to try and do a virtual TT Meets TT in the meantime, are we not? I think we're going to get.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the video I did with Peter was came out really well. So I think it's definitely a good format to do for people that are not living in the Kent area, so to speak. So, it's definitely a way forward.
Definitely.
Yes. So what was your highlight of the year, Stephen? I know you've been over in Ireland, but have you got something you can add to the flavour that you've done?
Yeah. So sure, right in the middle of the summer, there's a big show called VAG, VAGE. So I think it's Volkswagen Audi Group Ireland.
Yeah.
And it was literally a mix of everything from like Mark 1 golf all the way up to modern day, like Mark 6, Mark 7 golf, and everything in between. But for some reason, there was actually a lot of TTs at it. Normally, like there's like one TT or like, it's a really kind of oddball car. And then suddenly, for some unknown reason, everyone's like, let's all get TTs. And it was actually brilliant because I was walking around and got chatting to loads of people. And even jumped on one or two guys like, do you mind just being in a video? And there was a guy from Northern Ireland and he's done literally everything possible to his CT, a red one. And it's an air ride suspension and he had a big giant quattro in front of it. It looked really deadly, like, because it still kept true that it was still a TT, but he had modified it enough that it was kind of like a modern day take on it. And then like there was loads of people with Mark 2s and Mark 3s as well. So it's lovely just to see kind of how, even with Audi, like how the TT has like evolved through the different generations and what people have done to them.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah. So it's good to know the TT scene's live and kicking over there as well.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
No,
So-
it's nothing like it is in England because from watching your videos, especially doing the breakfast meets and Auckland bites, the amount of people that all have TTs in the UK, it's like, do they even drive anything else, or is it just TTs?
I can quite happily say people do drive other cars, and it's when you're driving around on the roads. I find now, particularly in Mark 1, if you are more at a weekend, you see a lot of Mark 1s because I guess people are out and about driving them. But if I see a Mark 1 out and about during the week, and I'm in my Mark 1. It's always a big event for me. So, there's a Mark 1, there's a Mark 1. And I'll be frantically waving at them and probably flashing my lights. They probably think, it's a crazy.
Chasing them down and putting the card on them.
Yeah, well, I have been known to do that as well. But they're definitely getting, I think, definitely getting more rare.
Are they?
Yeah. I think we just lost Darren.
It was lagging out.
No, it's obviously
It's lagging out on the actual feed on the.
He probably got bored talking about Mark 1s, maybe. Hopefully not.
No, he's going and coming back. He's on the tuber chat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get him back in anyway. But yeah, so I think it's the highlight for me this year. I think really has as like I say, has been the how we've seen the shows that we've attended going from maybe like getting 20 together and it's really got some enthusiasm going this year, and everyone wants to go to all the shows now. So whereas you'd probably get a meet maybe once every couple of months, there's a lot more meets going on, I think. But some of that might be to blame me and Chris for, I don't know, because we like to get together and talk cars. But some of the shows that we're going to now, they are getting, that one at Auckland Bites, that 135 car show at Auckland Bites was just crazy.
That was amazing.
It was something to see, because it was watching that car park and watch people just go around the car park waiting for a space, and the spaces never turned up. It was I've never seen anything like that. The TTs,
and they were all TTs.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and a few diggers. There were a few diggers there as well, but they weren't part of the TT meet. And
the other thing that you spot, like, you know, everyone is so friendly that drives a TT. Like, you know, everyone is very accommodating or very friendly. Like, as soon as they know that you have a TT and they have a TT, everyone just wants to chat and like say, what have you done to your car, or like what problems have you fixed?
I think that's one of the things that I've noticed from this, is that I expected, buying a car and trying to get into sort of a bit of a scene, I was expected to be quite snobby and quite cliquey. Yeah. And everyone that I've spoken to that's been involved in other scenes always says, oh, the TT scene's so friendly compared to the scene I was in with whatever they used to be in. It's very cliquey, it's very, you know, very snobby, or, you know, people were very, you know, awkward about things. And everyone says the TT fraternity is really quite, you know, community rather than fraternity, I should say, shouldn't I? But community is really quite friendly. Everyone's getting involved, and, you know, it doesn't matter if you're driving, you know, a £500 Mark 1 or a, you know, 80 grand TTRS. You know, everyone just happy to talk about their cars. So,
do you want to drop Darren back in, Rappy back in?
Yeah, I will do. I think he might have appeared. Has he appeared?
I've been here for the last 5 minutes.
I know. Sorry, you're in the green room. That's where you were. You were in the green room, so you could hear us.
He's around the back, knocking back champagne.
So sorry, because I remember, because Darren, you're at Ockham Bites, weren't you? So you were ripping the Mark IIIs at Ockham.
Ockham Bites, there was quite a lot actually, Mark IIIs down there. And I met a load of people who, to be honest, they message me continuously. Literally, my Instagram is just ping, ping, ping. Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get this? How'd you do that? Yeah. It's continuous, but I love it, and I'm really helpful with everybody. But it was great to then put a face to the cars, because there are these people coming up to me because they know me from obviously maybe YouTube, or I put my face sometimes on Insta, and I'm like, I actually don't know who you are. It's so bad, but I know their car. They go, "There's mine." I go, "Oh, that's you." Okay, fine. I never know who the hell anybody is. But I keep forgetting that they obviously know my face possibly now because of I'm on the other side of it. But no one ever likes to show pictures of their face. But Ockham was brilliant. I didn't realise there was going to be an incredible amount of TT. I mean, 137 was there?
Yeah, it's different. Definitely over 100.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's the scene has definitely increased this year for people wanting to do stuff. See, I don't have that problem with people asking where I got this and got that from the car, because my cars are obviously very both bog standard. But the same thing, people will come up to you at places like Ockham and they'll talk to you, and it is great to meet these people, because, like you say, you talk to them online, and then but they are faceless to us, aren't they? And then when you meet them, it's oh yeah, you know all about about the car, the bits they've been talking about. And it's been quite interesting for me this year to spot cars I recognise and not people. And it's not because I don't know the owner; it's because the owner has changed. So there's a Noggy one, a blue Noggy one that goes around, a 52 plate Noggy. And I think it's got Nog in the number plate, as a lot of them have. And the owner of that, I think, has changed either at least once this year, but maybe twice. And that guy came to, I think, the Quattrofenia event, and that was a different owner to the one that owned previously. So it's like, you know, the history of the car more than you know the people. If that makes sense. So it's like, so I think we're going to notice that as we go into next year. There'll be cars that may change hands, and then we'll start talking. Oh yeah, I know your car from a previous from the guy that was crashing it around the roads last year, or just taking it a different direction really. So I think that's going to be quite interesting next year. So people might start asking us for histories of the cars. It came with no service history, so what do you know about my car? Ask Chris. Chris is the mechanic. But yeah, it's I think there's been some great shows this year, but we've got a lot of great shows coming up next year as well. So what have you guys got lined up?
What, for next year?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to a lot of shows together, and just carry on modifying as well. as you do.
Yeah.
Nearly finished the front end now on the Mark 1, so hopefully have a video going live on that this week. Just got to put something else on tomorrow morning and then edit all that up, and then that's that bit done.
Yeah, there's a couple of shows coming up actually in January as well. Talking of shows, there's one that's being held, I believe, on I think it's the 7th or the 14th. No, it's the 21st. Sorry, I'm making it all up. There's a show on the 21st, and that is at I can't remember the name of the place now in Essex. I'll put a description in the chat, but the Essex TT crew are all going to that. So it's a breakfast meet, and I think they're having some dinner afterwards. So there's a show coming up there, and I think there's one coming up at the end of the month, actually in Kent. There's one that's happening near Detchling, if you know that one. So I'll put all these details, these shows coming up. I am going to do one of my what's coming up videos to go out, because they are starting to spring up now, and I'm just conscious a lot of you have said that your main source of social media is actually YouTube. So if you want to know about shows, you normally get them from the feeds rather than Facebook or Insta. So but yeah, so I will put a video of that. And then I think we've got some stuff coming up in March. I think there's the West Bay run, is there not? The TT Addicts doing the West Bay run again, I think. Darren, is that right?
Yeah, there's a West Bay run. I'm not sure whether we're talking about doing it in March. I think some of the
I think it is March, but again, I will put that up in the in the chat so everyone knows that that's coming. But that is a great one.
I've not done that one.
No, I haven't. I know the countryside around there quite well from various school trips back in the day at Portland Bill, and it looks like an absolutely immense drive. I think it's a really good one to go and do. So I am looking forward to getting down and doing that one and seeing Steve Marchant down there, as he tends to lead that one out. So that'll be good. We've got Simply Audi, I think, coming up in April. Remember rightly, Simply Audi is a popular one.
Yeah.
That's we went to that last year, and that's a really good show, and we'll be going to that now. I think last year it was £15 to get in for your car, and that gives you free entry to the museum as well. So it's definitely, if you've not been to the Motor Museum at Beauty, it's definitely worth going and have a look at. So that's another good show coming up. There is the new Vorsprung Duck show, which is taken over from Audi's in the Park. I think that's coming up in June. Is that coming up? I think it is.
I don't know that one. Yeah, I think they were talking about that early last year. But I completely forgot about it, to be honest.
I'm not sure if it's June or July. It might be July, actually, thinking about it.
We'll get all the proper dates all together.
Yeah, we will get all the dates out. So everyone, so I see Scott Harrison's just put, "Hi gents, can't wait for 2023 TT meets." Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're organising. Well, not organising now, but we're talking about now. But some of the key ones we've got coming up next year, I think. Obviously, we'll do Quattrophenia again, because that was a great run down to Brighton.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'll try and organise a little spring fest as well. So that's a popular one. There's also the Motorist, isn't there, next year? I think guys are going to that. I see in the chat there's 4 guys coming down from Scotland for that. So last year there were a couple of guys that had driven down in their 3.2s from Scotland, and I think this year there's a few more of them coming down. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that one myself this year, because I've got quite a busy summer, but it is a good show. And again, that's got a great cafe, and it was a great turnout last year. I think we had about 80 cars there last year. So that's definitely a popular one.
We're going to do the Departure Lounge.
The Departure Lounge, yeah. So I think we're going to wait for the weather to dry up for that. So that's probably going to be an April or May one. And that's a great one down in the south. So we'll be attending that one. And in between all of this, we're going to do a run to the Nürburgring. Fancy that, Darren, next year?
I was just about to mention that, actually. Yeah, some of my Mark III guys have done it this year and had a fabulous time. And some of the pictures looked immense. But I'm just terrified that I'll go one way and then I'll cane my car so much and I won't be able to get back. But I'm honestly, I'm so worried all the time that there's something's going to go wrong with the car when I go on a long journey or something. But then I've got you guys, your guys have got like 20-year-old cars and done like 100,000 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know if we're going to make it there yet, let alone get around it.
We'll make it. We might not make it back, but we'll definitely make it there. There'll be enough of us to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to upgrade your brakes.
Well, I will be
the one brakes are terrible.
Yeah, I will be the slowest car on there. I can guarantee it, because I'll be driving around like driving Miss Daisy. I'll just be taking a nice pedal just to say I've driven around it. Not because I'm not all about breakneck speed and going into corners fast. I'm just happy to drive around the track and just take it all in, come back. I'm really all about going to that Reims Formula One pit straight where those pit garages are and get some pits there. That looks like that would be a great photo opportunity. And And I've driven past that on the auto route about half a mile away many times without even realising it's there. So I'm looking forward to going and doing that. I think that'll be a great show. And obviously we're going to go to Ireland as well.
Yes.
We need to get a date in the diary. And as soon as I've got a date in the diary, guys, we'll put that up on the channels as well. So if you want to come along, we'll sort of say where we're going, what we're doing, what ferry we're catching, where we're heading to in Ireland. And if you want to come along, great. We're not going to do the booking of it and organising it for you guys. But if you want to come along, we'll tell you exactly where we're going to be. And then you can just follow us down there and we'll convoy down to
Kilkenny.
Rosslare.
Yeah, and then into Kilkenny, and then we're going to do the Wild Atlantic Way.
Yeah. So how far is Kilkenny, would you say, from
Rosslare?
Yeah, from Rosslare.
Oh, it's only an hour away.
Okay. So we've only got an hour's drive the other side. And then the Atlantic coast?
That's actually in Wexford as well. So we can either we get some food somewhere as you come off the ferry, we'll relax, and then we'll do the drive, or we can, if you're coming over quite late, we'll just go to the hotels, and then the next day we'll do the cruise.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll try and do. Maybe we'll come over and do an overnighter for definite. So we'll stay in a hotel somewhere.
So I was thinking, if you came over on the Friday night, on Saturday we do the cruise, we relax on Saturday night, and you all go home Sunday, ready for work on Monday.
We probably won't go to work on Monday.
There's no guarantee we'll get back. But yeah, that sounds like a great trip.
And you can sample some of the Guinness and the other amenities we have.
Do you know what? I've had one pint of Guinness in my life, and it was actually in Kilmanagh. That's the only time I've ever had it. The one pint.
That's the only place to have it is in Kilkenny or in Ireland.
I don't like it. I know that's probably blasphemy, but I don't like. I just tried it and I thought, no, it's not for me. I'll stick to beer. It's definitely not for me. But
we'll give you another one.
Yeah, we'll try it again.
Maybe it was a bad pint you got.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly what it is. But yeah. So if you guys in the chat, if you've Horace Bond, you guys in UK and Europe are so damn lucky picking up cars for $2,000 that actually run and look good. Not so here in the USA. So lucky. I'm so jealous. Yeah, absolutely, Horace. I've done quite a few videos with or a few chats with Hunter Direction. If you don't follow Hunter, Horace, he's a US based TT guy, young guy, and he does some great videos. Really does do some great videos. And he scared me when he was talking about price of parts. He's trying to get parts for the car. It's just horrifying. I think he said he picked something. He's trying to pick up a new fender, and he said if he told me the price, I'd literally pass out. So he didn't tell me the price, but it was pretty bad. But I need to find a way that I can ship parts to the US as presents for people, gifts. Send them. Here's a subframe. Merry Christmas. There you go. And get around the customs. So that'd be good.
Andy, by the way, I've just tried to put the links of the So Solid things in the chat, but the chat doesn't allow it. So I don't know whether you've got some inhibitors on it. Yeah, maybe you don't allow links in your chat.
Oh, well, I don't think that's a me thing. That must be a YouTube thing, I think. So what we'll do is, if you send them to me, and I'll stick them in the video description. I mean, I could search them up myself and put them in there as well. So I'll make sure they're in there, guys, so you can. And if not, go off and search for Rappy's channel now and have a look. Well, don't go anywhere. Stay here. Open another browser up and search for it.
Put a link in the description or something, Andy.
Yeah. I'll put a link in the description, Chris. That's exactly
there you go, mate. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, Peter's there said about always bring your OBD reader if traveling more than 15 miles. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And make sure your OBD reader works though, because I did a review on a few of the top done ones, and one of them is really good, but one of them doesn't even work with the car, even though it says it works with the car. So be careful when you're buying these. And if I'm perfectly honest, and might get shot down here, but for £12 you can get a little Bluetooth one off Amazon that reads the codes. You don't need to spend a fortune, and they do the job, and they'll tell you.
That's what I use.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's the way forward. That's what I'd say. Rather than chuck a load of money at a big reader, and Horace says we have racetracks. Well, they're not. Well, yeah, I suppose that is the Nürburgring is a racetrack, isn't it? But we're and anyone can drive around it, which is a bit concerning. I think there's a track day. Did I see somewhere in the chat there was a track day coming up? Someone's trying to organise a track day at Brands Hatch as well. Have you guys seen that?
No, I've not seen that.
No, have I?
Which I'm not. I think go and do Nürburgring. Like I said, I think it'd be great because you can go and drive around the track at whatever speed you want. But I think if you're at Brands, you'd probably and there's other cars going around on a quite small on the little circuit. You'd probably be quite keen to give it a little bit of extra right foot, maybe. So I don't want to do that. So
what would you take, Andy?
What to the Nürburgring?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be the 3.2 anyway. So
that's a tough call, really, because you might want to feel the wind in your helmet as you're driving down on the road. I don't know. So I think it would be the 3.2 because you can just get more in it anyway. There's more luggage space for taking tents and spare
they're the
parts.
same size.
Tents?
No, not tents. Spare parts. New subframe, new set of brakes, all slick tires in the back. You need all that.
That's it.
No, the Roadster's definitely smaller.
I'd say the Roadster,
yeah, and it's only got 2 seats. Although you could argue the Mark 1 has only got 2 seats, whether it's a coupe or a Roadster. And if you're going to try to put anyone in the back of it, it's definitely So, guys, if you've got any questions for us in the chat about stuff you've got going on with your car, let me know, and we'll try and answer it. I'm doing a lot of the talking here, guys. So if
that's why we're just listening to you, letting you.
In fact, Chris, why don't you tell us about your bumper? That's what you need to tell us about. Tell us about your bumper.
No. Yeah. So the V6 front bumper. So I bought a V6 front bumper, as some of you may know. And I also have a massive front mount intercooler on as well. And the two don't like each other very much.
How did you fix it?
I modified it. So the bumper is now modified. I have sent Andy a little teaser picture of it.
Yeah.
So it's on, and I think it looks all right.
Yeah,
just got to put something else on it tomorrow. And then, there'll be video coming this week of it, all done, hopefully, if the thing that I've got to put on tomorrow's dry from painting and looks good. It's been a challenge, and you know something? I wouldn't advise anyone to do it. It's taken me absolute ages and just thinking about how I'm going to do it, because what my plan is a lot of people, when they do have the big welly cooler and they put a V6 front bumper on, it's the size of it, and it comes through and they leave the side grills out and stuff like that. So I actually made my own grills to put in, which are in now. But yeah, I had a vision in my head of what I want it to be, and I think it is sort of there now. But yeah, let me know what you think when the vid comes out. But I think it looks all right. I'm probably 90% happy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you still got the old bumper if you need to put it back on?
Yeah, I've still got the old bumper, and also doing it the way I've done it, I've kept all the original V6 grills that came in that front bumper. I've not trimmed any of them. So then obviously that's something that may help someone else in the future if they go, I've cracked a grill in my bumper or whatever, then I've got some that are not touched, like yourself.
Yeah.
So some V6 parts have also been saved as well as modified.
Have you kept all the plastic? Have you kept all the plastic shavings from where you were chiseling it away to melt it down to make sense?
Mate, I even broke a Dremel doing it.
Did you?
Yeah, my Dremel packed up. It just packed up. It packed up when I was doing it. So I had to go to a hand file, right, to start doing some bits while I was waiting for a new Dremel to turn up. And it was a lot of fun and games and a few cable ties here and there. But it's on now, and I'm so glad it's on because it was doing my head in, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, Darren, you've got a lot of tasteful mods on your car, haven't you? Your car is far from standard. It's probably a good way of saying it. It's subtle.
It's not... yeah, it is. It's I kind of I've not gone necessarily with the engine mods. It's more visual mods, and I'm kind of starting to look at the engine mods a little bit more now. But yeah, I mean, it's exterior stuff really, and a few bits of interior stuff. I've actually worked out. I've got, I think it was 42 modifications now, but it's kind of like an OEM plus type car really. Yeah. But I find that the engine mods, I'm not a nutty driver. I'm not like, I don't need to go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds or anything like that. But I just, it's fast enough. I've got a stage 1 map on it, a generic map, a quantum map, which is fine, to be honest. And I can spend a fortune getting a proper map on there. But I don't know. I'm just kind of, I think it's fast enough. I literally beat every single car off the lights. I can keep up with Teslas. and I don't have a problem with it. So I've just done all the exterior stuff. Actually, I've done something this week as well. I don't know whether you guys have seen my latest video. Turned the whole dash into basically the RS dash with the center speedo, which everyone said it was like the holy grail of things to do, and no one's been able to do it. No one's got the code. They've cracked it, and now my good mate Sol, who is not too far from me, only half an hour from me, is a whiz. He just literally plugs his stuff in and just gets it done. And he's done so much on my dash already. So yeah, I've gone down on the whole sort of. I've done everything I can probably do on the dash side of it now. Exterior wise, pretty much done most things. There's a few still bits and pieces and stuff under the bonnet. I've done hydro dipping on most of my engine parts, but yeah, I think I don't think there's too many things now. There is still a few things in the pipeline which I won't mention just yet, but because I'm just trying to look at prices of stuff at the moment. But because I mean, it's horrific. I'm actually going to do a video of all the mods I've done to the outside, and I'm going to do another video all the mods I've done to the inside, including the engine bay, and then I'm going to total up the price at the end of it.
Don't do that, mate. Don't do that.
I already know the price. Every time I buy something, I put it basically in my notes, so I do know how much I've spent. But I'm going to do a video over 2 videos about how much everything cost and where I got everything from, because so many people continuously asking me, where's this, where's that, what's the best for this? And I'm going to basically do a couple of videos of that. And then I'm going to do a totalizer at the end. I think I remember you, Chris, last year or the year before, with your old folder going, literally going through everything and totaling it all up.
It's more than that now. I paid about 3,300 or 3,500 for the car, but I think when I totaled it, what I spent about, it was about 15 grand. So yeah, I think it's about 11 or 12 grand on bits and bobs and
for the Mark II.
Yeah, for the Mark II.
Wow.
I don't know if he's in the chat tonight, but I think if we were gonna play that game about how much money you've spent on your car doing it up, I think for me, Paul Knight wins on that one.
Yeah,
because he's invested some serious money in that car. That's a great car. I don't know if
it's a great car. It's like 400 something horsepower. Yeah, I went out of that, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Oh, mate, that thing absolutely shifts. And the way the power goes down was so smooth but strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It felt like the car was supposed to be like that. It wasn't just like you go along the side and you boost. It was just brilliant. You know what I mean? He dailies that as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah. It's I think he said he got it to the level that he can still use it as daily. Anything more than that would be, pushing it over the limit. But
he's still got some more plans for it as well.
He has, yeah. He's always got plans for it, which is great. I think it's one of those things, isn't it, that if it's never truly finished when you've got a project car. If you're doing things to it, you're never going to sit there and go, "Oh, it's done now." You're always going to think, "Well, I could." I think Darren, you're a classic case of that tonight. You said, "Oh no, there's no. I think I've done it all now, but I have got a few things."
That's what I tell the missus.
Yeah.
And everything costs £50 as well.
All mods are $49.99. I've seen them all on eBay, all of them, including the new engine.
Do you know what though? You've got to be savvy though when you're buying everything. I have got some incredible deals, like ridiculous deals. I mean, I'll give you a few because people need to really kind of research it properly. I mean, I might be fortunate because I've got quite a big following. People actually offer me stuff, but the first real good saving was I bought the rims. I've got the 20-inch rims, and they're retailing at around £3,800. I bought them off some guy for £800. And they were near new. There was nothing wrong with them at all. He just didn't like them. He wanted to get something else, so he got some Chinese knockoff copy things. And he gave me these. These rims, which are on my car now. I think for £800. And the other thing, the biggest bargain was though, I got an OEM wing. I was about to buy a one off of eBay, and everyone was telling, "Oh, they're a bit crap, they're a bit lightweight." So I got the OEM wing, and that wing is normally around £1,500, and I had it off of a guy who put a big AP wing on the back of his. Really lovely guy, Flitz. He's not actually on Insta anymore. He came off of it, but he had the most incredible RS. and he put this big AP wing, and he basically had a brand new Panther Black OEM wing, which I took off in the RS wing for £175.
What? That is a bargain.
He said, "How much do you want to pay?" I said, what do you? I was going to be paying. Actually, funny enough, I got another story. I actually did buy one off of my mate, another mate, Chris, who's actually got a blue one. Bart, I can't think of his. He's probably watching actually, and he's going to kill me because I can't remember his Insta. But he gave me his one. I met up with him, and I bought it off of him for £400. And I thought, what an absolute steal. And then this fella said to me, I've got this one. How much do you want to pay? And I said, I don't know. What do you want? He said, give me 175. I went, all right. And literally on my doorstep, a £1,500 brand new OEM RS wing. So you've got to be savvy when you buy loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Even my intake as well. My intake is £1,050 retail. I've got the APR enclosed carbon intake with the pipe and the turbo elbow. And that's, £1,050. And some guy who works for Wheelbase just put it on eBay, and £375 he took an offer for it. And it was pretty much new. It was in his Golf GTI Mark 7. And he had it in there for about 6 months. So I've just bought really savvy.
Yeah.
And actually saved myself a
You've
fortune.
done well, mate. You've done well.
Yeah.
I remember watching your video when you put that wing on the back as well, when you were drilling in the back, and I thought, honestly, I can't imagine you ever doing something like that.
I look back at it now and I thought, what the was I doing? Honestly, I could not believe now. I'm thinking, what made me think I'm going to drill into my own car? I mean, at that stage, I knew nothing. People say to me, oh, you must be a mechanic. I go, I really am not. Go speak to Carl Chris about that. He knows all about like mechanics, but
just do it, mate. Everything's nut and bolts. Everything's nut and bolts.
Literally, I think if someone else has done it, someone else can do it. It can't be that difficult. Do a bit of research, and YouTube's a great platform. I've learned so much from it, and then I start pulling my car apart and just I've put that wing on, and now, funny enough, there's loads of people following it, sending it to their mechanics, and my video's gone all over the place, and people are now copying that in workshops now, and I'm like, I'm just some random outside my house, and I've got professional workmen actually now following my video of how to put it in.
Yeah,
nuts.
Amazing.
No, you've done a good job on that, mate, didn't you? Because you came over to me, didn't you, and I coded it out for you.
That's it. You did a video of coding it out, which apparently doesn't work anymore. That we need to do an update of how to do it, because that's.
Well, you can't go into the basic settings and change all the coding on it now.
No, because I met up with another friend who did it recently, put his wing on, but he just wanted me to code it out, and I couldn't find it on the OBD11. There's some other way. There's another way of doing it. You can do it with it, but it's not the way.
So you've got to go another way around it.
Yeah, so maybe we have to do another one, a refreshed one.
Yeah.
So what's been your most expensive mod you've done to your car then, Steve?
Taxed it.
Is that true, mod?
In Ireland, that's probably true as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like 800 quid for tax. But like, I don't know. Like, I like that. Like Andy's approach of like just keep everything OEM. Like I have like when I bought the car, I literally just serviced every single thing on it. But like, just a new air filter, new oil filters, everything, new Haldex. But like, I've never really kind of gone overboard of like modifying. I think the most thing I've modified is puddle lights. So it has the gecko and the Audi symbols. But like, even at that, you're taking a Dremel and you're going. So for 20 years, no one has damaged anything on this car, and here I am, literally with a Dremel cutting it like a little square into the doors. And I went for it. Like that's about the most funnest mod I've done. Everything else after that is literally just fixing the car.
And what about you, Chris? What's the most pricey mod you've done?
Probably the wheels on the Mark II. They were £2,000.
Wow.
Oh shit.
But that was with the tire. The tires were probably 800 quid. I did put a Eagle F1 Super Sports on it. I went for some good tires. But when I look at a car, I think, what can it be? What can I do to it? And I know anything I get is going to get modified. And with the Mark 1, I was quite lucky with that because I think I paid quite a good price for that. And it already came with that Stage 2 Revo map on it. It had the 3-inch turbo back Millsec exhaust system on it. Everything else I took off and put my other stuff on. But yeah, so those were like quite, I mean, that Millsec exhaust is like 1,600 quid and it came on the car, and I didn't pay much more than that for the whole car. And it had those wheels on it as well, which I quite like, but they're going to be getting changed. But you know what I mean? It's it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Andy? Have you done anything mad to the car?
No, so I suppose the most expensive mod I've done is wheels, where I've actually put the car back on its original wheels. Maybe not the actual ones that came in the car, but the styler ones. So I put the Ronalds back on the 3.2. So I got a set of Ronalds in they weren't even gunmetal. They were like blue. They were like a metallic gunmetal blue. They were a very strange colour, and with the intention that I was going to strip them and have them restored anyway and put them back. When they turned up, they were in actually quite good condition. The paintwork was great on them, but it wasn't factory. So I sent them off and I spent £400 having them refurbed.
Here we go.
which was not up to standard in my opinion, and they went back a couple of times. But anyway, that's another story. And I did mention
that's quite pricey. £400.
Yeah, and I paid a good price for it because I wanted a really good job, and I went to a very well-renowned wheel refurbishment company in Tunbridge. I won't mention who they are.
Shit and polish.
But I would not use them if they were the last company on earth now. So there you go. That really upset me by what I got back. And then I had a set of tyres, another 300 quid put on the car. So they've cost me £1,000 to have the original wheels put back on the car. So that's probably it. But yeah, someone's just asked a question in the chat. Where's the beard? Right, so the beard I presume you're referring to is the Mr. Parrot. So I did reach out to both Dom and Bryn last week when I was filming my review video, and Bryn said that they were filming today, so they weren't going to be able to make it. Although I think that they changed their plans, so Dom was going to come on. And then, unfortunately, as you can see, I've got a cold as well. I think Dom's been knocked for 6 by this lurg that's going around. And he texted about an hour before we were going to go live and said, I'm sorry that I can't be it. So he sends his apologies, guys, but he would have been here otherwise. So, yeah, so the beard is unfortunately ill. So get well soon, Dom, and we hope to see you back on your feet. And don't forget, those guys are doing their live on Sunday for Rock Bottom Media, their new venture. So make sure you tune and watch their video on Sunday, because I'm sure that'll be bit of a hoot, and I think they're going to go around doing various challenges and things over the next few months. I've offered to get them on the ice and fire pucks at their heads, and they actually want to come and do it. So Chris, Chris used to play as well.
I'll calm down.
So I think that's definitely a good reason to get us both on the ice and fire pucks at them. So I'm sure we'll do that. So I just need to find a couple of my goalies that are happy to let me borrow their kit for the night, and see.
You're going to let them wear kit as well.
Well, I'm not that much of a sadist, but yeah.
They need to feel the full experience.
No, I think they definitely. So I was trying to work out if it'd be better to put them out as players and just get them skating around with a stick and puck and flick some pucks, or actually put them in goal and fire pucks at them. But I think
do a bit of both.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of changing the kit and stuff, isn't it? But yeah, I think that's definitely the way forward. So that's where the beard is. Peter's asked about. He's mentioned that. The best mod, he was putting his CCM box in his Roadster. Now, if you own a Roadster, make sure the roof is watertight. Don't get it flooded, because if the CCM module gets flooded in the back shelf of the Roadsters, all your electrics start going haywire, and it's a real pig of a job to do. And they're also very expensive to replace. So, although Peter's there put that it was definitely the most awkward but most rewarding. So, yeah, good work on that. Marcos has put, hey guys, had a 225, but it was an accident a few weeks ago. Looking at getting a new one. Wonder if I should go VR6 this time or snag another 225. VR6 are very rare here. VR6 versus 225 it's probably a debate we could have for hours on end. Turbo versus VR6.
Well, his last car was a 225, so definitely go with the VR6 just for something different and just for the sound.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough that I own both, but I don't own both in the same shape. So, and obviously the Roadster's definitely more wallowy than a coupe. So I can't really compare the 225 against the VR6.
Yeah, it sort of depends what you want out of a car. If you want something you could just get in and drive, then I'd obviously if I ever bought a 3.2, I'd leave it alone.
When, not if, when.
I'd just leave it alone. But obviously,
He's looking for a red one.
If it's got a turbo on it,
correct,
it needs modifying. But with the 3.2, you'd quite happily just cruise, maybe just a little cheeky straight pipe on it or something.
What about a 3.2 that's been turboed already? It's already been modified.
Well, that would be very nice.
Yeah.
But they're serious money. You're talking like 10 grand exactly to start thinking about turbo and a VR6. But you do get like 600-700 horsepower. I've seen. I think was there one that was nearly 1,000 horsepower once? I can't remember. I think that might have been over in America or something.
Yeah, it was a silver one.
There was, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a YouTube video I watched, and I think they had up to 1,000 horsepower. It's like just mad, but they had caged and everything. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's something that Andy should think about doing.
No, that's not going to happen.
You won't even put wheel spacers on.
I won't.
But Andy, maybe you should have like one completely original and one way off the wall modified.
I have a job hoovering it in case it changes the car. That's how bad it is.
He wouldn't even put his own sticker onto the windows.
No, there are no stickers on my car. You're more than welcome to have one of my stickers, anybody, but I will not put my own stickers on my own car.
Oh, when I see you next, I might have to slide one of my stickers on you.
Yeah. That's why I keep an extra layer of dirt on the car. So if anyone tries to
and that works as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've had evidence of that.
Yeah.
So Marcus he loves the sound of the VR6. My A3 is the 3.2 S line, very very nice. But just wondering if I'll miss the 6-speed.
Is the VR6 not 6-speed?
Yeah, the VR6 is 6-speed. My VR6 has definitely got 6 gears in it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it means a manual. Maybe it's got a manual one.
Oh yeah.
But you can get a 6-speed manual VR6 anyway.
Yeah, but maybe they're even more rare there because don't forget.
Oh no,
manual. No, I'm not going down that myth tonight either.
There's the same amount.
It's the same amount. Look them up. Don't fall for the extremely rare 3.2 in manual. It's not. They're the same.
Oh, yeah, Canada's DSG only.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that is the case. So yeah.
But they're 6-speed anyway on the DSG, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, Howard's still on the chat. Howard, I see you're still on the chat. I'd be interested to ask you. I think you had your chains done this year, and if you have, can you drop me a line off here or let me know if you're happy to let me know what you paid for them, because another one of the guys that come to the meet, David Smith, the guy that supplied me with the report on the 3.2 VR6 engine that he got from the guys in Germany. He's had his chains done recently, and he said when he had his chains checked, because you'd expect once the chains have been done, they'd go back to 0 and 0, wouldn't you? That's how I imagine it.
Yeah.
So when you haven't done, they're at 0 and 0, and he's had them done, and they're not.
How far out are they?
I haven't got the figures off the top of my head, but he did send them. I could find them. I can let you know. I'll drop a message over to you later. But they're not back to 0. Now I would have thought when you have the chains done, they should be back at 0. Yeah, agreed. And he said the same.
As close as it.
Yeah,
it probably not be exactly
2
0
degrees, but yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't. They were something like 5 and
no.
Yeah. So I think he pushed back. I won't sort of reveal too much. You might not want to
as well.
Well, that's what I was making me think, because I know Howard's had it done, and I'd be interested to find out who he used, and I'd be interested in reading Howard's chains with my code reader and seeing what they're at.
Because when we checked yours are like 3, aren't they? They're 3.
No, well, they were a year ago. They were 3 and 3. I'm happy to talk about mine. Yeah. So the rule of thumb seems to be if they get to 8 on the gauge, they start at 0, I presume. When they get to 8, they're at the very limit of their stretch, and you need to have the change at that point. Or if there's 2 readings, and if the readings are out by more than 2, you also need to get them done. So when I first got the car, Chris did my chains, and they were 3 and 3, so they were the same, although they were not they're not up at 8 where they need to be changed. They were at 3, so we were happy with that. So then I checked the chains probably a month ago, and one's at 5 now, and one's at 3.
Oh,
so it's getting on borderline of it needing to be done. So what I'm hoping is the 3 moves up to a 4. so it closes that gap down.
And the 5 then moves back to a 4, and you're dead even.
Yeah, if that's the way it works, then great. But yeah, I think I need to. I do need to keep an eye on it, and obviously in my video on like looking after it, a lot of the journeys I was doing in that car was backwards and forwards to the station to drop the kids at the station.
Yeah,
and that is maybe 2-3 miles down the road. And one of the big things you shouldn't do is do short journeys, because if you could do short journeys, the oil's absorbing lots of the fuel, thinning the oil down. The fuel is staying in the oil, causing more problems. And of course, keep doing those short journeys. The engine's not warming up, so the oil's taking longer to get going, so it's causing more damage. So the answer is don't do short journeys. Let the car warm up, or don't go on a nice gentle drive for 20 minutes before you actually use the car as such. Basically, leave it in the garage, I think is the answer. Don't drive it. But
would that be more for the VR6 than the 225, or is just all 1.8 or all 2.2s in general?
That issue is because of the chains on the on the 3.2. That's why it's an issue with the chain stretch, because all of these different issues with driving it short distances, running, short, keeping it still causes lots of problems with the chain, essentially eroding and wearing away.
Yeah,
it's so a lot of the additives they put in the oil to protect the engine. Long life oil, can't speak to it. Long life oil was another thing. So the long life oil change that they put onto the car from new, that would allow you to do like crazy amounts of miles between oil changes, is another reason why it caused the problems, because they have less of the additives in the oil to make the oil last longer, which means it doesn't give the engine that protection. So watch the video, guys. That's the answer. Watch the video. But funny enough, the guys that wrote the report, the German guys, the report is in German, and David Smith translated it into English, sent me a copy, and I've sent it back to them because they didn't have an English version of it. So they've literally messaged me today saying they watched the video yesterday and they really like it and they want me to send the report back to them. But they've then since put it on their forum there in Germany. So I noticed the views were going up a little bit today because obviously it's being spread around, always like that. Share the love. But yeah, it's so definitely a 3.2, but make sure you drive decent distances in it to keep the chains under control.
And Darren, doesn't your Mark III have a chain? Are you TSI, TFSI?
TFSI.
So that's I think yours is a EA 888 engine, maybe. Probably a Gen 3 or 4 or something like that.
Honestly, when it comes to that stuff, honestly, I'm still reading the books.
Because I believe they've got a chain as well. Because my mate Rob's got a Mark II with a Gen 2 EA 888, and I actually checked his chains with Audi 11 to see what they were like, because he had a rattle on his engine, and we were wondering what it was. So we checked his chains, and they were actually good. And what that ended up being was a wastegate rattle, where Audi actually do make a little clip that goes around the end of the actuator, where it goes on to the wastegate and it rattles, and you can put this clip on and it shuts it up, and that did solve his issue. And being quite a similar sort of engine to yours, obviously yours is a newer one, so maybe they've all been obviously sorted out, and that maybe not an issue now with that your engine.
Yeah, I think
I've not heard anyone with the problem.
No, I think that even the Mark II, that issue of the issue of the chains was resolved during the Mark II. I think about 18 months into Mark II production, it was solved.
Right.
So it doesn't cause such a problem. So it's the early Mark Is that have that engine. I've got a problem. As I say, you think by the time it made its way into the Mark I
meant like the 2 litres, not the 3.2s.
No, the 3.2.
No, I'm wondering about the 2 litre.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the issue with the 3.2 was sorted out in the Mark II because by that point the engine was that evolution of engine was 10 years old, because you think the 2.8 started in the early 90s, and it seems to have come in literally every make and model of cars had that engine. Mercs and Skodas and even Ford Transits I think had it at one point. And the Galaxy had it as well. So they do a 3.6 version of it now, don't they? That comes in the Porsches. In the Porsche Cayenne, that'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it, to get that in the car? I think an extra 400cc. Watch me go. And then get it turboed. Then get it turboed.
Always get a turbo.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, Andy, you disappeared.
And it's back again.
Sorry, as my makeup artist again.
Patting your nose.
So, Steven, you've got a Corrado, haven't you?
Yeah. I have 2 of them actually. Well,
have you got VR6 ones, or have you got like G60s? Or
so one is a 2-liter 16 valve. One is one I built, which is just a TDI, and then the third one is now going to be a VR6 Corrado.
Oh,
so
you put the 2.9 in it because they had the 2.9 in the Corrado, didn't they?
Yeah. So the engine I bought a VR6 thinking it was a 2.9. It turned out to be a 2.8. It's the AAA, but it actually is the better engine because it's a slightly newer engine. You can scan it better with VAGCOM, and it doesn't have a manual distributor. It has an electronic distributor and a few other things. So it is actually a better engine. You have a little bit less horsepower, but
I think it's about 180. I mean, I had a Mark III Golf VR6.
That's the exact same engine I have.
Yeah. And I put an air filter on it, and it sounded absolutely wicked through the air filter with VR6. Yeah. They were quality. Was it a P reg? What was that? 1996.
Yeah, that
was a quality car. That was.
That's actually the reg of the engine. Yeah, 1996 AAA. But like it's the sound of the VR6 that everyone loves. Not so much like. So like when the Corrados came out, you had like the basic ones, which are the VR6s or the G60s or the 2-liter 16 valves, and then the top of the range was the VR6.
Yeah. And
now you get the TTs. You're like going, the bottom of the range is actually the 180 horsepower. Which is what the VR6 would have been, and now we all have like 225 onwards, and you're like going anything less than 200 horsepower is like poverty spec.
Yeah, look at the hot hatches from the 80s and look at their power. That you were seeing. I think the 1.6 GTI Peugeot had something like either 115 or 135 brake horsepower, and I think the 1.9 had an extra 15 on top of it.
Yeah.
Show me a car now that you'd say, yeah, look at my hot hatch. It's got 115 brake horsepower. Yeah, because one of my wheels might have that.
When I first got
so much lighter, they weren't they back then?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first got my Golf, the Mark 1 Golf, I was driving it and I was like, there's something seriously wrong with it. Like, it's a GTI, it should be much faster. But down to one of my friends, a local mechanic, he goes, you do know that's the first generation, like, GTI Golf. You drive a TDI Passat. That thing is way faster than the GTI Golf. Like, because it only has like 111 horsepower. So it was like, it chucks along, it's grand, like, but yeah, it's nothing compared to modern day cars. But then when you go to the MOT and like you have to park the car up and you go in and you wait your turn and you look out and there's like, I don't know, like a Ford Fiesta, like, just the run of the mill cars, and you have the Golf in the middle and it is tiny. It's such like, it's so narrow and so low down. You're like, this was like what the average car was back then. So yeah, cars from now have just gotten so much bigger.
Yeah. So we've got a question, guys, about getting a TT through the MOT on emissions. So he needs to change the exhaust. Any experience and recommendation on a good exhaust?
So put a pipe works, 3-inch downpipe on with a sports cat on it.
I don't think that's going to get through the emissions, is it?
Yeah, because it's still got a cat on it.
Oh, right. Is that going to get you? Do you need a friendly MOT station for that?
No, it's got a cat on it.
Yeah. So that will get you through, will it?
Yeah.
What sort of money are we looking at for that, Chris? For that idea?
I think they're 400-ish
for a full system.
No, just a downpipe and sports cat.
Right. Okay.
I've got the 3-inch Miltech downpipe on mine with sports cat.
Okay. So we're looking about £400 there, Martin, by the look of that.
Obviously, you can put standard on if you want.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of your issues are coming. Well, I think when your emissions are getting bad, obviously the cats are going to be causing quite a few of your problems with the age of them.
Yeah, Andy, for my one, it failed on emissions, and the guy said, "Is this a project car?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "You probably only driven it around like the garage and stuff, or around the garden." I was like, "Yeah, pretty much." He's like, "That car needs to be driven and driven hard." So he said, "Go into Halliford's and you just buy the stuff you put into the fuel tank, and just drive it out the road in third gear. Don't bother changing gears, and just get the engine up to temperature, but rev the engine so it's literally burning any of the emissions that are stuck in the exhaust pipe and just like, burn it out. Went through it again and said it was like a brand new car. It was so clean.
Yeah, and I think that because when I first bought my 3.2, I took it the first week I owned it. I took it to see a friend of mine who works at an MOT station. He owns an MOT station, and he got up on the ramp and we had a good look over it. Didn't spot the hole in the subframe, did he? But anyway, that's another story. But he did an MOT. I did an emissions check on it, and it failed on emissions. He said if I was testing it today, it would fail on emissions. So I've literally driven this over to you like an hour's journey to come and see you. So it's had a good run. It's up to temperature, so it can't be that. I've stuck a bottle of Red X through it to try and clean it, so it shouldn't be that. And he said, I'm just saying what the readings are. So then when it was MOT'd back in November, I was thinking, and they spotted that it failed on the whole of the subframe, got the new subframe. And I said to the guy, what about emissions? Any problem with emissions? He said, no, it's all fine on emissions. So, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, it's all fine on emissions. So all I can imagine is that because that car sat for so long and it's probably all gunked up, that the year I've had of I've put 5,000 miles on it last year and a lot of drive, lots of good driving and that, lots of decent driving. I think it's probably cleaned it through enough. So I think a lot of these TTs that are sitting around, like I've mentioned, nipping to the station and back, and they're never getting themselves, they're always going to be full of just crap to
also putting in like just fresh fuel, like because fuel only has a certain life. Just fresh fuel, driving it hard, burning all that dirt out of it definitely helps.
I see that Jamie Court says that sports cats only last 1 or 2 MOTs if you're lucky. So they've got a bit of a shelf life, then, have they, on for that?
I've never really had a problem.
Peter's also put find a kind garage and make sure the cat is super hot. It's got a Miltech cat back and been fine so far. I think getting the car up temperature is key for starters. That is definitely key.
Cats work by having a chemical reaction inside them, and that's how they work. And obviously you need the heat as well for that reaction to take place. So luckily my MOT place that I use is down the M25, so I get a nice little blast down there.
Perfect.
It gets it all hot by the time I even get there.
So I think Martin's garage, I think a lot of the advice is Chris is saying get a sports a downpipe, a sports cat, but get the car hot before you take it for MOT.
Absolutely.
The trouble is you can then take it to the MOT station. It can sit there for a couple of hours in the cold and not be used, can't it? Unless you drive it straight in.
Exactly. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, these are older cars. It could be all sorts of things. It could be PCV issues. Anything like, I mean, if you've got any like vacuum leaks and stuff like that, it might then start trying to overfuel, then emissions again. There's lots of things it can be. It could not just be because of the cat.
It's definitely worth giving it a service as well, because don't forget, if you're running a car with old engine oil and it's all a bit gooped up and gunked up, it's making the engine work an awful lot harder to produce that, the output. So again, make sure you've got make sure you do it in a little mini service. I always do this sort of think, if it's going for MOT, give it a little mini service before it goes, and then the car's in its sort of best shape it can be. So
like the important thing is even changing the air filter. Like even if you have if you go for the pod air filter, it's not a pod air filter for life. You do have to either replace it or clean it. If it's like a K&N filter or something like that. And that does require washing it, drying it, putting oils back into it, cleaning it, making sure it's spotless. Because if you're reducing the amount of air going in, well, the car doesn't know that, and it's just going to dump extra fuel in. So the ratios will all be out.
It's a safety thing of the car, that the ECU in it. If it sees a problem, it always like a limp mode and sort of things like that. It always tries to overfuel it than underfuel it if it detects any sort of issues.
Especially
so you need them running pretty much spot on.
Once the engine management light's on, the best thing to do is ignore it, innit, Chris?
You get stickers and just put the stickers over it
for a year. That's what you get. That's what you have an OBD reader for, so you can delete the codes.
Exactly what it's for.
Engine management light, no more. Martin's put it looks like it needs a nice Miltech exhaust and drive it more. Yeah, no problem, Martin. That's hopefully we're here to chuck a bit of advice in the mix. Well, they're all here to chuck a bit of advice in the mix. I'm just here to listen and nod in the right places. So I think Rappy's in the same place as me. We'll let them talk the mechanics and we'll talk the pretty stuff.
That's it. Yeah, I think so.
Andy, did you ever replace that lambda sensor in the end?
Sorry, I'm just looking at what's the
Is
next
there a new comment? Is it? Yeah.
No, it's still to be done. And Chris and I were talking about that on our little journey last week, weren't we? And I said, he's going, "Have you still not done that?" And I said, "Well, it's I think I'm going to take it to the garage to get it done because I've got to get it
content,
so hot
Andy. Content. It's all to do with content.
I know, but there's also me sitting on the garage floor at 3 o'clock in the morning crying into my hands because I can't now get the car out of the garage because I've broken something on it, and it's there's lots of things I do like to give it a go, as I always say on my videos, but there are things to do. But I've got a little video coming up that I'm going to do. So for those of you that don't know, the VR6 has got the battery in the boot rather than the front. So if you've got a problem with the battery's gone flat, and you need to charge the battery, and of course if the battery's flat, all of the controls for opening the boot are flat. You've got to undo the little compartment behind the handbrake, also known as under the cup holder, pull the little loop to pop the boot, open the boot, and then take all the gubbins back on the boot to get to it. So I thought, well, how am I going to deal with this? So I've got a couple of options. I spoke to Steven about this, and we were talking about doing it. So I have got some little cables that I can attach the battery now. I've not done it yet, and I'm going to rig something up. So it's not really quite OEM, I know, but I'm going to essentially add a charging or a jumping point into the boot. Now I know I've still got to get to the boot, but that's easier to reach by putting the seats down than I am have to fold the whole of the car back to get to the battery. And I can leave a trickle charger on there if I need to as well. Obviously I've got to make sure it's isolated and it's away from any bodywork, and I'm not going to end up making the car live, so I've got to do a bit of work on it, but I've got the straps for it now, so I'm going to rig something up so I can do that. I was going to try and deliver it to the front and put it where the original battery is, so I can jump it all out the front. And I know you mentioned about jumping off the starter motor and the alternator, and I was thinking, it's just scaring me doing that, so I'll just do it off the battery. So I've got a little video.
Andy, come on, have some faith.
I know, but if I blow it up, I'll be really upset.
Content.
But
it's mad that with obviously with your one, the V6 and the Quattro Sport, they put the battery in the boot, but they never actually put any points under the front, because like the Mark II's got a battery in the boot, but I've got jumping points under the
There are kits. You can buy a kit for if your car's got, which I don't understand. If the battery's in the front, they do a kit so you can put the jumping point away from the battery. So, but surely the people that need those jumping points in the front the most are the people that got the battery in the boot.
Exactly.
Because anyone can pop the boot, the bonnet, and open the bonnet and stick a, But anyway, it's content. It is content.
No, get it done, mate. Get it done.
And I was thinking of a way. Is there a way I can feed that through the bodywork somewhere, and I can deliver it to the front and jump off the front? But I think it's going to be a big old job to do.
Well, there already is wires from the battery to the engine, so all you'd be doing is jumping from the engine part into a set of terminals.
Good luck feeding those through the bodywork.
Tap into it. Just tap into it.
The wires that go through the bodywork are about tiny, and these cables for the battery are massive. It'd be like trying to stick a sausage through a sieve. It's probably the best way of describing it.
But just connect onto the starter motor, like.
No.
The battery's already connected to the starter motor.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Getting into it anyway.
No, but I don't think you should really be sticking it the other way through the starter, should you?
But sure, when the alternator is creating the power to the starter motor and then sending it all the way back anyway.
Yeah.
So you're just tapping into that loop of what it's already doing.
I don't know. I'm scared about doing that. I'd rather just have something on the battery, guys. You're talking about stuff that no. Maybe you guys do it, and I'll watch your video.
My battery's under the front.
Buy a 3.2 then. There you go.
A red one.
Yeah, and then make some content.
So on the Mark 1 and the Mark 2s, the batteries either end depending on what engine you got then?
Essentially, yeah. Well, not even what engine you've got, what model it is, because the Quattro Sport has essentially got the 1.8 turbo lump in it with a few mods on it to make it a bit more juicy. But its battery is in the boot, the same as the 3.2. But the 225, the 180, and the 150 have got the batteries in the front. But bizarrely, the space is there for it. So if you open the bonnet of a 3.2, you go, oh, there's the battery compartment, and you open it up and it's a void. So
It's like with the Mark III. There's a big area where the battery you'd think would be, but they've shoved it in the boot.
Yeah.
So it's a bit.
But what I don't understand is they've engineered it enough that they haven't engineered that battery compartment out of the design, but they've engineered a whole new rear floor pan into the battery. Would you just not do away with the front bit as well? It's a bit like, why have you not done that? It's like somebody. I think it might have been.
It's obviously done for weight then distribution, is it?
Yeah, I think it's just down to size as well. I would have thought because you wouldn't get the 3.2 battery in that space because it's quite a bit bigger. Who was it that told me the story about the TT was designed by two people, and the guy that designed it in the morning designed it a certain way, did a good job, and then he went home for lunch, and then he let his apprentice design it in the afternoon, and designed all the crap bits for it. And I think he's quite right there. But anyway. Oh yeah, fit 2 batteries. Yeah, that could be a way forward, couldn't it?
Yeah,
just put a battery in that space, Sandy, underneath the bonnet.
Yeah.
Just stick an 80 ampere battery, would be grand.
Yeah, could do that, couldn't I? But for the, I'm gonna design my 3.2 starter points. What would I class it as? Jumper points?
Terminals, yeah.
Jumper terminals. My 3.2 jumper terminal solution.
Bye, Andy.
The Mark 1.
Or bye, Chris. Where'd
Where's
Chris
Chris
go?
I'm here.
He's still there. He's got bad signal. He's got bad signal.
Oh, okay.
But
guys, I'm going to need to go. I'm going to need to. I've got literally family calling.
Okay, yeah.
People, so there might be something going on. So I need to actually shoot.
Yeah. All right. It's been great to have you on tonight, Darren. Thanks for being
so
on.
Guys.
Thanks for
having
Happy New Year, mate.
Yeah, Happy New Year, mate.
Take care.
And you.
Thanks, Darren.
See you guys later.
Cheers. Bye. Bye.
And then there was 2.
Oh, there's Steven.
So anyway, you're going to get the terminals, and you're going to do all of this. You're going to have an amazing video, and you're going to show everyone how to do it.
Yeah. I don't know if
wiring for novice.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you know what? If you have a look at my virtual pinball machine, you'll know I'm not a novice when it comes to wiring.
No, that is pretty cool.
That pinball machine is the nuts.
Thank you very much.
You have to do a video on that.
I know. Do you know what? I was adding some more LEDs to it earlier. So you guys don't hear about that anyway. That's boring. But I was adding more LEDs to it earlier, and now it's the most amazing thing ever. I will share. I have to share some pictures on my Instagram when I show what I've done. But just run wire from the rear to the engine. Yeah.
But I think that's the whole idea, that you don't want to run any extra wires.
Yeah. I don't want to run anything to the bodywork. I definitely don't want to put the positive connection on the bodywork for sure.
No.
It'll be a shocking experience.
Yeah, well, it depends what you want to do. So, if you want to actually literally physically jump the car, to start the engine, you'd have to use a really thick wire. But if you're just going to use it for trickle charging, well, then you only need a little thin wire.
Yeah. In fact, why don't you guys talk on that subject? I'm going to go and get the wires, and I'll show you what they look like. 1 second, caller. I'll be right back.
I'm left on all on my own.
But I've got a trickle.
So the guards have left, and now the prison inmates are running the place.
I've got the little C-Tech eyelets on my batteries.
Yeah, fit 2 batteries. That's probably the easiest way of doing it. You put one battery in the back, one in the front. 80 ampere battery, 40. Any kind of battery will turn over a petrol engine anyway, so you don't need a big heavy battery.
Right, there you go. Can you see these?
Oh, I see. You're wiring an amp in.
Definitely substantial.
No, it looks like an amp, doesn't it? No. But look, they're color coded. So the black one goes on the plus, and the red one goes on the negative. Yeah.
Exactly that, mate.
No.
Yeah, it'll be fine. That was a joke, by the way. So.
Have you got a fire extinguisher ready?
Yeah. I think it's a fire extinguisher. It might be a can of tire inflator, but it'll do the same job. But anyway. Yeah, so guys, if you
has Chris
anyone
completely gone? Is Chris completely gone? I don't see him on my screen.
I'm here.
Chris is there.
He's not on my screen.
I can see both of you two.
He's on the live feed, so he's definitely there.
Come in, Chris.
Hello.
Well, he's
we don't
definitely
hear
there,
him.
Stephen. Yeah, he's definitely there. He's on the live feed.
Okay, we don't hear him.
I can see both of you.
Well, I don't hear my one.
I can hear you. I can see you both. You're both on the live feed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to confirm, guys, those that are watching still, can you see that all 3 of us are on screen and you can hear all 3 of us? Just to confirm, sure you can.
I can see all three of us on the live screen.
Yeah. So, guys, can you let us know in the chat also as well what mods you've got coming up for the car this year and what you're looking forward to this year? Really, what shows you're looking forward to? Spring first.
Oh, Stephen's gone there.
Stephen's gone. Now there's two of us. I can hear you.
We seem to be the only people with a good connection.
Yeah. So Anthony's put, can see all three loud and clear. That's great. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for letting us know that. That's great confirmation. Well, I don't think you can see Stephen anymore because he's just gone. Yeah. But yeah, Pete's all three of us. Yeah, all good. So I reckon we're about sort of like 20 or 30 seconds beyond the feed by the time for that to come up.
And then he's back again.
Well, yeah, but he's he's back. There you go. Can you see us?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
That must be that dial-up internet you got over in Ireland.
No, I forgot to wind it up like.
Yeah, so guys, do let us know in the chat what your Marcos is looking forward to replacing that Crash 225. Yeah, we'll definitely do that because that's definitely the way forward. But if there's are there any parts that you can salvage off that 225 so you can reuse it? I don't know. You let us know. Once I get it through, I'll most likely do suspension mods and maybe turbo later in the future. What turbo the 3.2 is that? I presume, but yeah, that's big money. Yeah,
I need to do my suspension.
I assume then if you VR6 or you turbo VR6, you need a special ECU and everything.
I would have thought so. I think you need a special everything if you do that.
Okay.
I think you need. I don't know what work you need to do to the engine. Would you need that forged as well, or is it? It's not forged already, is it?
No,
but there's distance.
No, you can get a special head gasket on it that lowers the compression in the engine to allow to put a turbo on.
Okay, so you would need. So the reason the money that you need to invest into that mod is not just on bolting a turbo to the car; it's all the sort of like re-engineer them. Yeah,
standalone ECU. Loads of little bits. Obviously, fabricating intercooler hose, pipe work, and all that, and obviously getting a turbo, getting a manifold made up. Yeah, a lot probably goes into it.
There's probably very little off the shelf that you just buy. It's all custom made or custom parts made.
Exactly. I think the only obviously there is places that will probably do you a kit, but you're going to be thousands, aren't you?
Okay.
And then you need someone that can actually tune that engine. It's not supposed to have that turbo on it.
So let's look what people are saying they're having done on their car. So Jamie Court's having a welly cooler set up. He's got a welly cooler ready set up to go on. Some new coilovers and some 10mm polybush top mounts, some silicon hoses. Go for a stage 2 remap. I don't know. Talking of top mounts, because the MOT station told me I need to do those. And when I've looked at my car visually, yes, I have the gap. But I noticed Felix had put up an interesting post yesterday on Facebook about the sort of like the myth of needing your top, of the gap for the top mount's been an indicator. And I did reply to him basically saying I need to do mine, but I want to obviously stay standard, so I'm going to do them in rubber. And he pointed at me some on AutoDoc, and I think they were about 20 quid. And
I think I got mine cheaper than that.
I think he seems to think they're the same for the 3.2 as they are for the 225. But obviously I need bearings as well. They don't come with bearings for that, so I need some bearings to go in that. Do you get separate bearings for yours, or do they come with the bearings?
No, they all came in one kit.
Yeah,
all in the one box. Like I think it was only like a 10 or 15 quid.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, send me the link. Sounds like a job for next weekend,
Mr. Otto.
Yeah.
But watch the video, Andy, of my one, and I have to show the video that there is a small gap, and it's only maybe 2 or 3 mil. Like it is very small. And as soon as you can see any kind of distortion in it, or if you can get your finger into it, they're starting to open up. But like Chris was saying, I think go polybush. It's only for one piece, and I still have that wrapped in my car, and I still don't know what it is.
No, I don't want that. I want that.
But see, like,
I don't.
But with the polybush for the top of it, the whole suspension's taking that whole bounce out of it anyway, so there shouldn't be any.
Sure, you not just say things to try and get me going and get my kid.
Yeah, but if you put the Powerflex Black series in it, they'll still look standard because they'll be black bushes, not purple.
No, it's not about looking standard. It's got to feel standard as well. It's got to be, I don't know why I'm worried so much about keeping it standard, because obviously there are much better quality 3.2s out there than mine. So
I think it's at the end of the day, when you're driving the car, you want, and if someone says, "What's it like to drive a TT?" Well, you can give an honest opinion of like, this is how it came from the factory.
Yeah.
This is what it's like to drive. This is the ride height, and it is very enjoyable. You don't have to. Your head doesn't hit the roof every time you go over a bump.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly that. But yeah, it's I'm going to look what other people are doing now in case I get bullied into changing my car too much. Peter saying, yeah, just maintenance for him. He's got to replace the air conditioning pressure switch, new front shocks, front and rear, possibly modify the black box on his Miltech to a 20 to an exit. Yeah, so obviously Peter's got a 150, but I think he's done a map on it as well. So it's obviously, and because he had the right turbo on it that come on the 180, it's the KO3S, I think he said it was.
Yeah,
KO3S. And because of that, it's because I think the 150 comes normally with a KO3, which is not quite as up to the job, and but he's got a single exhaust, obviously, although he's got the honeycomb diffuser, a single, which you don't see many of those around. That's quite a rarity,
really rare.
to see that. And I've only actually seen two. One is on that car, and the other car is on is it Algiers Red? You know, the guy that's got the car. I think that might be a 180 he's got, and he's got a honeycomb diffuser on that. There's only two I've seen, so I don't think it's from the factory part, is it? It can't be.
You think it's a custom part, like? Or
I'd have thought so. It must be an option. I wouldn't have thought they'd have come from the factory. I might be completely wrong. I might be barking the wrong tree anyway, but if I am, let me know. Anthony says he's looking at doing a new TTRS back splitter and maybe TTS side skirts. I'm presuming that's not a Mark 1 then. I guess that's
he's got a Mark 2.
Mark 2, okay. All right. Yeah. That's I'll hand Chris into that one then to say what. So what side skirts have you got? You got some extensions on yours, haven't you? On the side of yours?
Yeah, I've just got the Maxton Design side extensions on my Mark II.
Yeah,
and the Maxton Design front splitter. I'm still thinking about whether to put the little Maxton Design rear spats on it as well, but I'm not sure at the moment.
You need to dig it out of the build up of moss and leaves that are around. When's the last time you drove it?
Probably the last meet we went to.
Really? Yeah. Has it still got my card on the windscreen?
No.
I hope you put that away. Yeah. I did see one that I sent you a picture, didn't I, last week? I went to the station last week, and there was a out of T25 Mark II in the station, and there was only about 4 cars in the car park. So I parked right in front of it, got a card, stuck it on the window under the windscreen, took a picture, and then drove off. So whoever that is, they might be watching. So yeah, thank you for.
You never know, do you?
No, exactly. I'm just doing a video at the moment of literally every car I've taken a picture of this year.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Accompanied by some music for it might be coming out over the weekend if I get a chance, but I reckon it's probably going to be early next week now. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. So everyone I've met this year, hopefully your car will be in the video. So a lot of the meets I go around, I take a picture of every single car on the way round.
Yeah.
And just so I can use it in the videos. And obviously I've had to, but of course a lot of the pictures, not everyone's going to want their number plate in the video. So I've been etching all the number plates out on all the pictures in Photoshop and then sticking it across. So it's but it looks really cool anyway. Hopefully it'll look really good. That'd be a good video for the end of the year.
Well, Andy, if you want a picture of my car, I'll give it to you as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you send me one over? Because although I've not physically seen it in my own eyes, and
but sure, we've chatted every time.
It's part of it. It's part of it. It's part of the channel now, isn't it? So we've got to have it on there, and it will be on the channel in the new year. So I can say, guys, for those of you that are on this feed tonight that haven't featured in TT Meets TT and want to appear in Series 2, which I'll be starting in January, please do send me your details via email. Doesn't matter where you are, as Peter and I proved, we can still do a job even if you're hundreds of miles away. So if you want to do that, Stephen's going to do it, I think, a remote one.
Absolutely.
Do that in January. I think Darren said he would do one as well, as long as my wife does the cooking. So I think that's booked in. Chris, you need to buy another TT so we can do a third episode. In fact, talking of buying TTs, I don't know if you saw in our video, Stephen, but Chris and I have got a little plan for next
Yeah,
Wow.
I saw that now.
Yeah.
So, can I give it away for people that haven't seen it?
Yeah.
So these two crazy nutcases had decided that they want to do a road trip. Is it
Yeah.
from London to somewhere in Scotland, I assume?
Anywhere.
In £500 TTs that are MOT'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like looking at this, going, if I can get this red one for cheap, I'm going to go in with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But under
It's a-
500.
Well,
500
we
euros.
see what this guy wants for.
Let's call it the TT 500. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called, the TT 500. You can only enter the TT 500 if your car has cost less than £500. So, guys, if you are out there, you want to join in the TT 500 and your car costs less than £500, be my guest. But Bryn did send me a link to one yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I said I've also seen another one that was under the 500.
Oh.
Well, that's not strictly true, but I reckon it could be under the 500.
Yeah.
And it's not too far from me, this one I saw. So
It's got an MOT.
yes, at the moment it has.
Has it got a long enough MOT until we actually do the challenge?
I did think we might have to, the rule might have to be the car is £500 with no
MOT.
modifications. I think an MOT can be counted as no modifications because you have to put fuel in it, aren't you? So
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So I think MOT and the fuel, we're allowed that, but you're not allowed to do any work off the MOT.
No,
because then that'll have to come out you £500.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
just
so
going to try and find one with an MOT.
You'd be wondering what are
500
you going to get for 500 quid? Like,
Well, that's
it's
the
not going to
mystery.
be great, is it?
like literally,
the
you can see the
mystery.
doors is falling off it. Like, you know, when you open the door, like the inner door card just gets left behind or something.
I'm
I
not
think
worried
the
about the
good thing
door
about-
cards.
Yeah, but if we have a couple and you come as well, we know that hopefully one, possibly two, might make it back. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope if we've got three of them, we can botch enough bits together off all three of them to make one car to get us that back. So it'll have to be a coupe because obviously we're not all going to fit in a two-seater unless one of us goes in the boot.
There'd be loads of headroom, like if it's in a
yeah.
convertible.
That's what you want when it's broken down at the side of the road, middle of January, pitch black.
It would be interesting to see what we can get.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so like we've got to plan the date we want to do it because then we know when we've got to get one by. Because then I can then look at some, you can look at some with an MOT which it will still have for that time.
Yeah, or if you can get one for free, you
That's
can
even
spend
better.
£500 on it to get it working, can't you?
But if you get one for free, that's been given
Well,
away
I
for
got
free. There's
that-
a reason for it.
I got offered that green one for free.
I think it's going to
Oh.
cost you more than 500 quid. That's going to cost you about £5,000 to get it on the road.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Although it was going to, I think it was going to be just the cost of having it, getting it trailered to my house. That was what put me off because I haven't got a trailer and getting someone to come and do it. And it might turn up on the drive and be one of those things that it's all romantic, like going to a nightclub. You know, you see someone at a nightclub and go, "Oh yeah," and then the next day when the
You get her
in the
home.
daylight, that TT is not quite so good.
Nah, it looks
You
a bit
know?
ropey now, doesn't it?
Beer goggles on a TT. But yeah, but it'll be
It'll be
interesting.
fun.
Yeah,
It'll be a bit of fun.
I want to see that Peter's replied back on that honeycomb diffuser. No, it's a single honeycomb direct from Audi. It's actually an Audi part. So there you go. So they are from Audi.
So lads, just really quickly, just show
yeah.
me your t-shirts because I've been looking at them trying to work out what do you have.
Find out like
Hashtag
that.
rolling a TT.
Mine's going around the bank at the Nürburgring at the moment. It's around the banking.
Now your top mounts have got it's leaning.
No, the suspension's collapsed on the side. It's,
Lads, I have to show you my t-shirt.
oh yeah, let's have a look. Oh, you disappeared then. If Harper can't fix it, we are all royally screwed. Well, did you get that for Christmas, by any chance?
I did actually. It came
Did
all
you?
the way from Portugal.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. So, right. See you then. Peter's got to go. Have a great New Year, Peter. And no doubt
see you
we'll catch
later,
up in
Peter.
the New Year. Thanks for joining us tonight. But yeah, so your jumper.
Yes,
all the way from Portugal.
exactly. So I'm absolutely delighted with it, and my girlfriend picked it out, so she loves yellow cars. So she was like, "You're getting a yellow car on it." I was like, "Okay." So it is
Yellow
actually
TT.
it's a Corrado actually.
No, you need a yellow TT.
Yeah. So that's the next car. It's like, but like they're so rare to find one.
Yeah. There's a really nice yellow Imola yellow TT that I see quite a bit. A 3.2 as well, owned by Jeff. Jeff's got a
it's
lovely.
nice, that.
Yeah, it's really good condition. It's one of the nicest 3.2s around, I think. But they do come up from time to time, but they do have a premium attached to them for the cost, I think. So if you're looking at picking up an Imola yellow one, it's funny, isn't it? They're the sort of cars that back in the day when they first came out, they were the colours that you'd be a bit like, oh, and that's a bit of a statement. Whereas now, you'd be quite happy to have it. And it obviously, because there wasn't that many of them made, that they are asking a premium for the prices. But some of the really unusual, I mean, like the Merlin purple, I think that was like a special, wasn't it? Like an Audi special, I think.
Yeah.
Just a factory order. Where at the time we think, oh, I don't think I'd order that purple, but now it's quite popular. And I always think Kingfisher blue. Back in the day, every TT would seem to be Kingfisher blue. Where now you might see a couple around, but not many. That's another rare colour nowadays. But maybe I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I think my background looks a bit Kingfisher blue, doesn't it?
If you were going to get the silver one repainted, would you paint the bottom of it silver and just do the roof as black so it looks like a Quattro Sport?
No, because it's not a Quattro Sport. And if I paint my Roadster roof black, my Roadster's already got a black roof.
Sorry. No, if it wasn't a Roadster, like if it was a hard shell, like.
Oh right, yeah.
So have you made your Roadster base look like a Quattro Sport Roadster because it's got a black roof?
There isn't a Quattro Sport Roadster. What are you people trying to fool me with? I reckon you could probably take the Quattro Sport engine out of a Quattro Sport, lump it into a Roadster. Can't see why not. But then obviously the battery's in the boot of it, so you would have to redo the boot. I don't know.
I put the battery in the front. There's loads of space.
Won't fit.
Are they a 180 or a VR6?
Yeah, it's a 1.8 turbo still, but it's got a bigger battery. Pretty sure it's got a bigger battery.
How much difference is there between like a 225 and a Quattro Sport? Like apart from obviously the paint, but like
about
what have
10
they done?
grand.
What have they done to the engine wise, or what have they actually changed on the TT to be different?
About 15 brake horsepower.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's a different engine code, I think, isn't it? There's a different engine code.
Yeah, they've done some engine things. Yeah. I think a little tune. Obviously, rear seat delete, pole positions if you spec it with that.
Yeah.
But you get a 225 and map it, and it's got more power than the QS anyway.
Yeah. That's what I always wondered. Like,
yeah. So, I don't know if the QS handle any better. They probably do because they've got no rear seats. They do have that brace on the back, and they do have the V6 like running sort of board sort of thing. And I think they might. I don't know if they have the same subframes as a V6, which I think they've got extra bracing on or something. I don't know.
The Roadster's got different bracing on the subframe. It's got these little extra diagonal arms that come out because to stop it wallowing around like an overweight elephant in a mud bath.
I think the QSs are a bit stiffer. I think the QSs are a bit stiffer.
Yeah, there's a lot of
power-wise, it's 15 horsepower.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. The engine it shares a lot of sort of history with the 225, but it also the body itself shares a lot of life with the 3.2, doesn't it? Like the body kit's the 3.2. I think it's the 3.2 chassis as well, but.
So basically, it's just a 225 with 15 extra horsepower.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you just paint each the calipers red on a 225, you have way more horsepower.
You may be inciting the wrath of all the Quattro Sport saying, "Oh, it's only an extra 15 horsepower." Yeah, but it's a Quattro Sport.
It's basically a 225 on a V6 chassis with a 15 brake horsepower more with no back seats.
Yeah,
and probably stiffer suspension.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it has. Yeah.
To give it that sports drive.
And obviously you paint the roof black.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going through a few of the comments. Anthony's asked that said that Andy and Chris, you mentioned that there'll be some meets coming up in January 23. Any more info, please? I'm going to do a video on that coming out probably next week, Anthony, just to give you an update on the meets in January. They seem to be around the southeast, if I'm perfectly honest, the ones I've heard of. I've not heard of any other meets anywhere else, but I will put the word out and see if I can find them all. But I think they're towards the end of January. There's one in Essex and there's also one in Detling in Kent. So we will be, I'll be keeping an eye out on that. Craig Ball said, yeah, that the engine we're talking about is the BFV for the Quattro Sport. What else have we got? Just people talking about the differences between the Quattro Sport. Raymond Jick, he's got a yellow one. He loves it. Yeah, nice. So so it's not many.
See, Raymond's also put in the States. We have an SC model. What is that?
Well, I don't know. The States definitely has a few more variants, I think, than us. They've got
I'm gonna have a look.
But one of the things that you see in the States a lot more. Oh, Anthony, you're right. Yeah, you're the one organising. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm not far from you. I'm in Marden. So I probably stuck a business card on your windscreen at some point. Yeah, I've now you said now I can see your name. Yeah, I can see your number plate. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But I can picture your number plate now. Yeah, go back to the colour of cars. In the States, there's lots of white cars. Lots of white left-hand drives. But over here, did I read there was 20 right-hand drive white ones made? Is that it? 20?
I've never seen a Mark 1 in white.
Oh, yeah.
Mark 2 in white.
You need to have a look at some of our videos then.
Yeah.
We have caught one in the last Dock and Bites. There was one, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There were a lot of TTs in that video.
Yeah, that one's owned by an Audi TT breaker, though. To be fair, that one. Yeah. So he's going to get his hands on a lot more cars that come up than the rest of us. So
they do look quite strange in white because you don't see them, but at the same time they do look really nice as well.
Yeah. Anthony, I'll definitely be at that meet in January. I'll be there, and I think Chris, you're going to come as well, aren't you? We talked about going and doing a little
yes, mate.
Sneaky little turn up in that one. First, might be thermals at the ready, and we might need our little radio mics on for that one with our little scarves over our face and so cold, but we'll definitely be there for that. We did do a meeting, I think at the start of December, wasn't it? We did one not too far away from here, down on Route 1066, down towards Roberts Bridge. We call it the Battle of Hastings. Didn't get as many cars this time, did we? We've got about 10, 15 cars this time, so numbers tend to be a little bit lower this time of year, but let's get some numbers out there. See how many we've got coming. There seems to be what the guys talking about. The SC was R32 with black roof and the Quattro Sport wheels. Okay, so R32. That's the Golf engine. And that's the same engine, but that's what they called the Golf, wasn't it? The R32. I guess it's 3 points. The VR6 3.2 we mean there. But Mark 1 as well. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see a lot of the variants around the world, wouldn't it? How different they are to our stuff. But see, Chris is I think he's gone for a toilet break, maybe, or he's gone off to buy a 3.2. Maybe that could be what it is as well.
He's looking for a pink one because they don't come in red anymore.
Oh, do you know what? There's a pink one, a pink Roadster by me.
There's not.
There is. I'm not, and I was at the garage putting some fuel in the other day, and it was parked outside the garage, and I was in a bit of a rush, and I thought, oh, should I pull over, put a card on the window, and take a picture of it? Because I've not seen a pink one, but it's a Roadster anyway. A pink TT. So whether it's been painted or it's been wrapped, I don't know. I don't think it's factory pink, but yeah, there's a pink TT in my village, or there was a couple of weeks ago.
But surely then if it's in your village, you might see it again, like driving around.
Well, yeah, that's the first time I've seen it though. So it's which is very silly of me not to stick a card.
Do you see them on Marcus? That's right. That burn it.
Yeah. I was going to say it's
hello.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Did you have to go and have your nose a bit of powder applied and
No, he had to go hide the pink TT.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's talking about a pink TT that I spotted the other week in the village.
Right.
I did. I took Chris on a tour of the TTs in my village when he was down the other week.
Did you find any?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Not in the
Stalker.
video.
It's only, I think it's a 150. I think the one I found though. Oh, there you go. They did do a factory pink TT, very very rare. Yeah, and looking at this,
There's a reason for that being rare.
yeah, absolutely. It's a roadster.
Marcus
as well.
would just burn it.
Yeah. Brindle Dom's new TT. Yeah, I don't know if they're Dom's downsized a lot of his, isn't he? I think he's moving a few on. He's going to concentrate on the Noggy from what he was saying.
Yeah.
So that seems to be his focus. Yeah, that Noggy's a lovely car, though, isn't it? All Noggies are lovely cars. I think they have some really, really cool colours to have your car in. Well, we know, I think I could probably name, or I can at least see 6 Noggies I've seen this year owned by people. One's a really nice one that we see quite often, don't we? Alex's one's a really nice one.
Yeah, Alex is nice.
Yeah.
Dean's got one.
Yeah, Dean's got one as well, yeah.
And obviously Dom's got one.
I think we had like 4 or 5 at Quattrofini, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dean travelled all the way down from Wales, didn't he, for Quattrofini? Yeah. And he came to Walk and Bites as well.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, well, I don't know where Steven was. He told me he was going to come, but he didn't.
He was there. He sent a picture, didn't he?
And you didn't tell him in time.
No.
You got to do the Quattrofini next time round, Steven.
Yeah, that's the deal. We're coming to you, so you're going to have to come to one of our mates as well.
Remember, I think I put it up on the video. I was like working out how far away it was. It was like it would take me 12 hours to drive from where I live to come across the whole way. Oh, I was just like, that's a little bit far.
It took us 12 hours to get there and back to the motorist, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably why we're not going. Well, I probably won't be there next year because it's a long way to go for the day. Unfortunately, it's a nice show, but it's just And when I got there, I was feeling rough, and I was saying, "Oh, I've got a really bad back, and I don't feel great." And I got back, and I had COVID. So,
oh, lovely.
Yeah, so that's my memory of. Yeah, I went to the motorist. What did you see? I don't know, but I got COVID. So that's and I'd not had it to that point. So, yeah. So there you go. There's an advert for the motorist. Go to the motorist, get COVID. Don't get COVID at Springfest.
Chris, I just want to ask you, when you did the headlights on your car, where did you buy the lacquer?
I did put a link in the
eBay.
description on the video.
Yeah,
and it was eBay. Yeah,
it was
I'll send you a link on WhatsApp.
Yeah, because I think it came up on one of the Audi chats before, and I was like, I wonder where did he get the lacquer, because it's not just ordinary lacquer, it's UV.
I think what you should do is put that link in the video description as well, because if people are watching it, they haven't got your WhatsApp group. So, but the people are watching it want to know.
I think it is in the video description.
No, in this video description.
Oh, in this video description.
So we'll put it in this video description, and it will be out there. But I think someone asked you that question on Facebook today, did they not?
Yeah.
And I think you linked
maybe that's where I saw it. Then because I was going, I actually bought lacquer. I was like, I don't think that's UV protective lacquer. I think it's just standard car lacquer, like.
Yeah, my one was like proper headlamp stuff.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing is, I did mine with a kit, one of those kits, the Auto Glim kit, and it comes with a liquid that's like a UV protection you apply afterwards, but it's just like water. I was thinking, how is that going to add any protection? And I've given the bottle a good shake, so I know it wasn't that. So I think the guy that I did the TT meets TT from Vegas, he lacquered his headlights. That's what he did, and I think that's definitely the way forward.
Yeah, I'll put it in our live groups, and you've got the link as well, Andy, so you can put it onto this.
Oh, brilliant!
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll add that into the video description so everyone has that.
Yeah, because I don't think ordinary lacquer would do, would it?
I think
if it's UV, you want UV.
Yeah, you need UV lacquer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone else on, I think, one of the Facebook groups. They actually heated and removed the entire plastic bezel and cleaned inside and outside, and still weren't happy how clean it was.
I might have a video coming up on that as well, because that's one thing that I was looking at doing, because I have a third headlight.
You remove all the dead flies from inside it.
Yeah, and someone asked me how you get all the dead bits out the inside. I said, well, the best thing to do is to actually heat up the mastic around the outside, remove the lens.
How easy is it?
It's quite easy. It's easy to get. You can get it off. Yeah, you just got to get it. You've almost got to get it warm enough without melting the lens. So you can't go too crazy. So you can heat it up enough with a hairdryer. You don't need even like a blowtorch or anything like that. So I've seen some people that say, put it in the oven.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Do you know what? if you want to get one of our headlights in the oven, you've got a big oven. It's like a massive turkey. You do it, and you can't. And it takes about as long to cook it. But of course, you've got so many bits on that headlight.
Yeah,
if you put
yeah,
it in
that's
the
what I
oven, you're
thought,
going to
like-
cook it.
Mm.
So
You
I
don't
think
wanna-
the best. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't want bubbles to come into the actual face of the headlight because
No.
then it's completely ruined.
Yeah, because another thing is people will say, "Oh, my headlights I've got moisture on the inside."
Yeah,
So they're up there. They've lost. That's normally where the mastic has failed around the outside. So you need to make sure that when because you can buy that mastic, it's about £15, and it comes and it's like thick black, almost like tarry, like in a strip, and you put it all the way round.
Oh.
And when you heat it up, it goes soft and sticky, and then you put your lens over the top, and happy days.
yeah.
So I'll have a little video coming up on that. Of
Do you
how
guys ever
not
have-
to do it.
Do you guys ever have problem with water or like say like the back window or the front window just being wet? From
Inside,
It's raining.
inside, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
inside, no.
only I've got the roof down in the rain. No, there's a good way of getting around that. So you can get those, like the packaging you get when you get electronic items, and you've
Yeah,
got
but
those little
I
silicone
assume
gels.
there's water getting in somewhere. I just don't know where.
Oh, you're saying it's getting in there, not just the general moisture in the car.
Well, I don't know which it is.
Have you got wet carpets?
Not that I can know of, but I will. See, I have mats on the floor anyway, so I'd have to lift them up and check.
Yeah. So I would say if you've got a good way of identifying if you've got like a leak, is water's going to run down to the lowest point in the car. So if you can feel your mats, if you take it out in the rain, leave it outside, go in the car and fill the mats. If you've got a leak somewhere from the elements, carpet's going to be wet. It's going to run down there. So take it out in really hard rain. If that doesn't happen, then the car's not leaking. It's
Yeah.
like one,
It's
you know
just general
what?
damp then inside the car.
That's a really good idea for a 15-second short. Is your car leaking? No, but that's a good way of identifying it. Is if your car. I used to have an Escort many years ago, and that was classic. You'd put it outside, it would rain. It'd be the carpets are all wet, and it started to smell mouldy as well. So if it's got that mouldy smell,
No,
to
it doesn't have that.
No, so I don't think you've got a leak. I think you're more likely to be moisture build up in the car because of the time of year.
Yeah, because I don't have a garage for it, so it does actually live outside in the garden. And then every time I go to drive it, I always notice that the front window is like just really wet.
Well,
Yeah.
Mark II's like that where it just sits outside.
What about your steering wheel? That's another good identifier.
it's-
Do you get that
it-
fuzz? Do you get that
No.
fur on your steering wheel?
Thankfully not.
No.
It's probably just condensation from the car.
I reckon
Does it
if I-
happen in the summer?
I can't remember. It doesn't rain in the summer, not here in Ireland. you
Yes,
know.
it does. What are you talking about? Not in England, it doesn't. It didn't rain last summer.
Yeah,
It
but
rained
the
about
heat
3 months.
in the summer, like, I mean, does it like not have like the condensation or thing? Like my Mark II out there, it's got no leaks, but the inside of the front windscreen, I
Yeah.
can see from here, is sort of clouded up. But there's no water anywhere.
I
in the
actually
car.
can't remember like offhand. I say it does dry out. So maybe it is maybe just a really. See,
You could
I
check
always-
the drains and
Yeah.
see if they're
Yeah.
blocked.
Let's ask the question in the chat, guys. Let's ask you guys: do you suffer with wet windows on the inside, and
It sounds weird when you say it.
do you have wet windows? Barring all the jokes, what are your thoughts on Stephen's wet interior? Does he have a leak, or has he got a problem with condensation? I think it's condensation. It
But
just
what
It
would
does
be
sound like condensation, doesn't it?
is there any like remedy or cure, or is it literally just put it into a garage when it's raining?
Yeah, you can put those little condensation packs
yeah,
sort of
you
things.
can get condensation traps. You can buy from B&Q. They do them. That are like they're like a
Yeah.
little bit of like. Chris has got one in his house, but I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that what,
Is that coming up? That. Just put one of these in there. Bang. Done.
Yeah.
all right.
Or if
Never
you've got
seen them
cat,
before.
put cat litter in a sock. That's the
Yeah.
same job.
Okay.
Or duck food if you've got a duck.
No, I don't have one of them.
I've got a duck.
How many do you have? Just one, is it?
19 I've got. I've got 19 ducks. And they're all indoors at the moment because they're not allowed outside.
That's right, because of the
The avian flu.
avian flu.
Yeah. So they're all living indoors at the moment. Not literally indoors. They're not like in the lounge or anything, but they're all indoors. Yeah. I have a 1 of 99 badge glove box and the ultra short wheels. Am I reading something different there? Moisture in the car's not. Where is it coming from? Well, if we knew where it's coming from, Marcus, we would have stopped it. So I think that's the answer. We're trying to find out where it's coming from.
I'm half suspecting because they are pillarless doors, like so that there's no frame around the window.
Yeah.
That maybe they're just not sitting tight enough to the door.
Door might have dropped.
It's just 20 years of age. Just instead of being really tight, they're just a little bit out.
Yeah.
And it's not visually that you can see it that they're out, but maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
So here's a little question for you. So you've both got coupes.
Yeah.
It's outside. It's been raining, right? Your car's been outside, and you go out and you open the door. You know the TT panel along the inside of the door frame.
Yes.
Is that wet?
Yeah.
It is wet. Do you have water on that? So on mine, when I open the door, it's got water on there. Like it's
it'd just be like a few drips or like.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the seal, it is outside of the seal, not inside.
It is,
of the seal.
yeah, exactly right. So the seal is working as such, but I was wondering if it had some form of way of not wicking moisture. Right, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? But if it had a way of leading the moisture away from the bodywork, but that's actually sitting under the door. So if you think if your car was sitting outside for a long time and the door was left shut and it kept raining, that water's just going to sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there. So one day you open the door and it'll probably be rotted away. Although it is plastic, I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
Have a look underneath the scuttle panel and see if the drains under there are blocked, and also check your pollen filter and see if that's damp.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was just thinking about that. It's like might be worth checking the drains there, because obviously leaves and stuff can build up in there quite easily. You know what I mean? There's sort of a little bit sort of open to elements to that sort of part, so it might be worth just checking that.
Yeah, because we have a lot of pine trees all around here, so there's pine needles everywhere.
Yeah, so it could be.
But yeah, I haven't even gone near the pollen filter. I changed it when I got the car and haven't checked it. So it probably is time to maybe even replace it.
Yeah.
Is there a life? Yeah. So I replaced it 2 years ago, so it probably is up for being changed, or is there a set amount of time that people should change them?
Yeah, 2 years sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because you think about a year would be like a normal service, 2 years would be like your big sort of service.
Yeah.
I take it the big service would be like pollen filter, air filter plugs, and all that sort of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Court mentions that his doors leak onto the sills, water just sitting on my sills when he opens the door both sides. So that sounds like I've got the feeling that might be by design, Jamie, I think, from if yours are doing it as well.
Maybe we should wax them.
Naked cars.
If it was waxed, or like that there was an even WD-40 or something that would just keep the water moving, that it wouldn't want to sit, it would want to bead up and move off.
Yeah.
But again, once it's on the outside, it's not coming physically inside the car. That's where I'm trying to figure out. Is there a very small leak that's just looks like damp, or is it actually damp?
Yeah.
And I can't really figure out what is actually wrong. I'll tell you a good one actually, lads. I have grey carpets. Everything inside the car is grey, so I just put black carpets in, just cheap ones, just from Aldi, and just floor mats like. And when I was driving, I didn't realize they had been very slowly just moving forward, and had just gotten a little bit trapped underneath the accelerator. I didn't spot this one day until I went to go pass out a truck. I was like, car isn't very quick, but I'd kind of gotten used to that kind of amount of speed. So it's like a governor. I spotted that the carpet the floor mat had shoved up on the accelerator. I pulled it back. It was like VTEC. It was like, I have so much power again.
So there you go. There's the biggest performance upgrade you can get, is move your car mats.
That's exactly it. Like,
it beats the 5 brake horsepower and paint your calipers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, free power. That's called free power. Yeah.
So anyone else saying anything in the comments?
Yeah, just people saying this. Marcus is talking about that special edition VR6, and it came with different color interiors as well, and baseball stitch seats. So the baseball stitch seats. What colors have you seen of that? So you've got the tan baseball.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I've seen a black black baseball stitch interior in Adam's car and Tankard's car. And they also did a blue one, apparently. I've not seen that yet. Anyone seen a blue baseball stitch interior? That sounds...
I think it sounds awful.
And I'm not sure if it was red or yellow someone said they did as well, which is just making my teeth hurt. It's sounds pretty hideous. Yeah. But the baseball stitch interior in the US seems to be. I thought a lot of cars would have baseball stitch, but after speaking to Hunter, it's like seen as like the holy grail over there to get a car with baseball stitch interior, and they go for like thousands and thousands of pounds. So
Wow.
it'd be the place to send your seats to, I think. So, but yeah. Julian Tassi has put, I was told a tub of silica gel left on the dash must soak up the moisture. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. So Chris has got a tub of the silica gel, or the or cat litter in a sock will do the same job. In fact, I did cover that in my putting your car away from winter video. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but if you are putting your car away for winter, there's some good things there that people have passed on to me over the time. To sort of put your car away, and things you can do while it's put away to stop the tyres perishing and just keep the car alive for when it comes out of hibernation in the springtime. Because obviously when the Roadster comes out of hibernation, it might have all new suspension around the front and an MOT on it, but we'll see.
Tell me, lads, when you have two TTs, do you end up with a favorite TT and like then the basket case TT where you're like, I prefer driving one TT over the other TT?
Oh, let's see what Chris says first.
So he has the Mark 1 and the Mark 2.
Yeah, he does. What's his favourite? Choose his favourite child.
There isn't really a favourite. You just use them for different things. Like the Mark 1 at the moment, I'm modifying that and playing around with that because I've already done the Mark 2. Doesn't mean the Mark 2's not finished because they're never finished. But at the moment, the Mark 2's at a state I'm quite happy with. And I know that I can get in the Mark 2 and drive anywhere and it will be absolutely fine. It won't break down, no dramas. Where the Mark 1, it's always an adventure, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't think they broke down that much.
Well, the thing is, I think I've probably only done about 1,000 miles in mine since I've had it. And I've had it just over a year. So yeah,
but you're driving the BMW and you're driving the.
No, I've sold the BMW now. I've got a Volkswagen Touareg now.
Well, at least you're staying true to the family then. So
yeah, we got a Merc as well, but no, yeah. So the Mark 1, I'm actually quite enjoy playing around with it at the moment because there's the aftermarkets parts are just everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's so much you can do. There's so much you can do to a Mark 2 as well, but. Obviously, as I said, I've got the Mark 2 to a state where I'm happy with how it looks and stuff like that. The right reliability's there. So the Mark 1 is just basically getting a similar sort of treatment now of getting it to look how I want it to look and getting the right reliability there. Like I've obviously got the catch can on there as well, which I've done a video on. But I'm actually going to put a PCV system back in the system. But I'm going to simplify the system. So I've actually got an 034 Motorsport 1.2 go in, which I'm going to fit in the system. But it's going to be so much simpler and all of that junk underneath the manifold on the factory one. So that's something to do. I mean, I've got loads of parts and things to do to the Mark 1. And do you know something? I'd be quite happy to have a go in it soon because I haven't driven it in ages because it's just been in the workshop and getting a few bits done. So, yeah. It'd be nice to get back out in it.
Yeah. See, I think that it's not. I think you've got a favourite for an occasion. So, for example, if I want to go out and put a smile on my face just from driving down the road, then it's going to be the 3.2, just because the sound it makes, and it's just not because people are looking at it, because most people would look at a 3.2 that don't own one, or a 225 or a 180 and whatever, and they'll just go, "That's an Audi TT." They don't think. To us, they're different cars. The Roadster, if it's the roads are all free and open, and it's the middle of summer, and I want to feel the wind in my hair, drive down the road, then it's great. I love it for that. And even in the winter time, if I feel like put a bobble hat on and just it changes the feel of the car. You take the Roadster out in the winter, it's cold. It's like I just can't describe it. It's a great feeling. People look at you like you're mad, but it's just great fun. But you get that Roadster in the middle of summer in that glorious sunshine and a traffic jam, and you're cooking. And you can't get out the sun other than putting the roof up, and you get to your friend's house and you look like a beetrix. You've caught the sun, as I've done it many a time. Then it's not good. So at that point, I'd rather be in my coupe. So but hey ho, there's definitely times and occasions for both cars, I think. So that's a good reason to own both.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
do you enjoy driving the manual versus like regardless of the horsepower or the engine? But is there like
Honest?
is it great to drive without having to use my left foot, no clutch, or
Yes.
is there a time where it's gone?
If anyone said to me, would you rather have a manual 6-speed gearbox or a 3.2 DSG? I'd say, give me the DSG all day long. As long as I'm not going to go wrong, I'll take the DSG because I don't want to be using my foot. I just want to sit there and point and squirt. My company car is point and squirt. It's not it's and that's got it's got 215 my company car, and it's probably twice the size of those, but it feels like it's got more guts than both my TTs, but that's another story. But yeah, it's definitely I definitely like the feel. Even when you're driving it and you were like taking it on a track, if it's got an automatic gearbox, people are going to go, oh no, you want to have the feel of changing. No, I'd rather let it slow down. As long as it's going to change gear fast enough, slow down, I can concentrate. It's like if you play
But you can override it anyway with the flappy paddles.
you've got the paddles. Yeah, it's like if you play like I don't know what the latest Gran Turismo would be nowadays on the Xbox. Like what are they nowadays? Whatever they would be. But you know what I'm talking about. They're like the car racing games.
Yeah.
You go on the easy level and you stick it on automatic gearbox and you fly around the track. You never fall off the track. You're setting all sorts of records. You stick it in manual. No one plays it in manual. It's too hard. It's like driving a car. Why'd you do it? Controversial statement, I know, but I would much rather drive
skill
a
though
DSG.
involved, yeah.
Nah, no skill involved. There's more skill involved in holding onto the car at the edge of the car.
Well, I suppose on the other side,
the ESP button at the same time so you can get more back end spin out.
I suppose on the other side, the Formula One cars are all automatic because they're just like it's just two buttons up and down to the gears.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not actually grabbing onto a gear stick.
When you look at any sort of like prestige, like top sort of like cars that you're looking at your Lambos and they're all automatics.
Of course they are.
All automatic. I think the auto boxes are so good nowadays. Where obviously back in the day, they were not great, and the manual was a lot better. But I think the gearbox is so much more advanced now. I mean, I've got the DSG in my Mark II, which is obviously a later version of Andy's, but very similar. And it's just it's just easy, isn't it?
Yeah. So just going back to the chat. Jamie Court asked, are we planning to go to the Nürburgring next year? Yes, we are. Yeah. That is something we were talking about right at the start of the show, actually, that we are looking to do that. We're going to get some dates in the diary for you guys. So again, the same thing is I would like, as I've mentioned before, I'd like to go via Reims and stop at that Formula One pit straight and get some pictures with the old 1950s pits. I think it'll look really cool. Get a few of us going down there. And we'll sort of say, we drive out there one day, have a nice, find a hotel, maybe not right at the ring because they've probably been quite expensive, but we'll try and find somewhere nice and cheap, get booked up, and then probably go to the ring on the next day and then finish at the ring and come back because he's not going to want the whole day racing around the ring, I wouldn't have thought, but he'd probably come back the same day. So just maybe an overnight to keep the price down. But we'll send you the details of what we're going to do, where we're going to book it. And if you guys want to come along and join in with us, then you're more than welcome to do so. And that way, everyone can book their own hotels and do their own journey. So we're looking at doing that next year. That and the Ireland trip are the two big things for me and Chris, I think, next year.
Definitely.
For our trips. Maybe we won't take the £500 TT there. We'll take our...
well, it could be quite fun.
I'm taking my 3.2. I've already told it. It's quite excited. Got a little smile on its face.
I don't know.
It might be sunny, Andy.
No, I don't care. I don't want to go in the roadster. I'm definitely taking the 3.2 and that one for sure.
I think I probably will take the Mark 1 because I think it'll be.
Yeah, it's got to be a Mark 1 journey, that one, if you've got a Mark 1. But you can, if you want to bring your Mark 2 or Mark 3, then you can do that as well, guys. How far is it a trip for you guys? Well, I'm about 40 miles from Folkestone, so I'll be jumping on the Eurotunnel. And then I think the other side, it's probably about 450, is it? I think. Miles, 400 miles, something like that. I'll have to find the exact route and the exact distance, but I know that Reims is about 150 miles, I think, from Calais. So I think it might be just under halfway there at that point.
Are you going to come to it, Stephen?
Want to do that?
I'm actually debating about it. I go from
really.
I probably
we are coming to Ireland, so you know what I mean.
Be a fair old journey, yeah.
Definitely.
I am thinking about it.
It'd be a good laugh.
I'm actually going to I'm going to be driving that one on my own. I don't think the wife's going to come on that one. She might do. I doubt it, but I might be doing that on my own, I think. So
I think I'll be coming on my own.
yeah. So I might have a spare seat in the car for you, Stephen. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. Might have a spare seat. You can film on the way. You can do all the filming.
I'll be the co-pilot.
Yeah. I'll let you drive some on the way, and then I can ask you, what do you think of a 3.2?
That'd be deadly.
Yeah, there you go. Do a little review of the car as well. We'll sort that out.
I'll be Andy. It's no silver car.
No, we can soon paint it. Needs a bit of paint anyway, I think, in places. Right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight because we've been on for 2 hours and these people have probably got beds to go to. I just personally want to thank everybody that's watched this tonight and has been with us over the last year for a fantastic 2022. Yes. I think we've done some really good things this year. See some really good shows, and I think the community is going from strength to strength. So I personally want to thank you for sticking with the channel, watching the channel, and all your great comments and feedback on the videos. There's going to be plenty more to come next year. We've got some great shows lined up. I'm going to put a video out next week on the shows for January. So Anthony, I'll be bigging up your meet in Detling. Guys, over to you guys, really, for your sum up on the year.
Yeah, no, what a great year. It has been such a busy year. As you said, community's going from strength to strength. 2023, let's go better and bigger. That's all I can say. And obviously, thanks everyone for joining us on our journeys.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven?
Yeah, basically, I agree with Chris there. Like, I bought a TT and just started making my own little videos and just how to do stuff. And thank you so much to Andy and Chris for inviting me on, because it really is just growing the community. There's so many people all with TTs, and just love to even just listen to us chat away or whatever, but love to watch our videos, see what we're doing. Yeah, they always tell us what we're doing wrong anyway. That's great. But it is really interesting just to see who else is out there, what they're all doing. Because at the very start, it was very lonely just going, I have a TT, but there's no one seemingly else out there. But now it's great, and the shows are taking off. It's just so massive. So I just want to say a massive Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Have a good one and stay safe.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll be back for a live show the next couple of weeks. And enjoy your big day tomorrow. Take care, all. Thanks, guys.